Looks like we're going. Let's go with our opening song today. What is it going to be? We're going to do it live here with you. Not even on the music channel. Door slam. It works anymore.
Listen what you say, and the bills went away. Was so impressed, became a member that day. Giving me a whole new approach to life.
Oh yeah. Blast from the past. Didn't expect this one to come out. I have just found the opening for Day Trading Radio, Cocktails and Candlesticks.
And if you're doing it in, you make the right decision. Cause following this trade is total precision. Newbies like me looking for some assistance. They told me to sell it when it hits resistance. So I'm not holding on, looking for hope. I put my purpose, keep on going through. That's how we roll on the day.
Nino's Pizza. Oh my goodness. You drinking already?
How do you like that? That was Doug.
What happened to the Caparines?
Screen name? Hold on, let me get a screen name up.
Okay. I'm embarrassed to say I'm
original.
drinking Snapple right now. It's been quite a day.
I like it a lot, and I don't play it enough.
Well,
I don't play it near enough. My computer's like on ultimate slowness right now. Ultimate slowness.
You know what, man?
How's
Taking
the
one
signal,
for the
by
team.
way?
One team, one dream.
Is it choppy? I don't know. I just know I have a lot of things here running in the background. 3 recordings going on. I got just a lot of stuff going on right now. So I'm hoping you're even.
Is Anthony there with you?
This.
Is Anthony drinking with you?
Maxed out. That was it. Maxed out.
Is Anthony with you?
Maxed out is maxed out.
Oh.
Took me a while to figure it out. JR. JR. I said it right. JR in the room. Tune in. So yeah, this is going to be Cocktails and Candlesticks. That was a little one of the opening tunes we're going to play. Now, I think I decided now, just sitting here with you, finishing up some sushi, getting ready to go on. Yeah, official.
Well, you know what? I just walked
we have to
out.
get a drink in
I told
front
you
of us.
my,
That's part of the
my wife and I went to the lawyer
we need
today.
A cocktail now.
After the close,
and, it's down to
get my big check for the house.
This is always
and
a segment
as we
of the
were
show.
leaving, the snow
Take off the mic.
coming down. It's coming down now.
Take the mic
again.
in hand.
So I'm figuring
I
after
walk
the
over
show
to the
tonight
bar.
around 11
This is
o'clock or
important.
midnight,
This is like
whatever.
Mr.
I'm going to go out there, shovel,
Mr.
throw some salt down,
Rogers'
because she's
neighborhood.
probably going to have school in the morning.
This is like
my
Mr.
kids
Rogers
too,
going
I
over
think,
taking
so.
off his sweater.
think it's just going to be a little bit more of a mess.
To the bar and seeing what the drink of the night is going to be.
No, not at all.
Oh,
but
so
just enough to
actually went out
ruin
and
my
got some
evening.
fresh mint.
So let's make it a good show, and we'll.
Do I have it in me to go?
You know what?
And wash these glasses?
It's funny. I just got a text from Sean at around 6:30 saying Kramer talking about insiders.
Just go disposable tonight. Let's see.
Dude, the news is out, man. First, you heard it here first. The DTR.
Sticks in your head.
God, stock blockers.
Or I got the Sprite.
And you know what, Kramer?
Gin and Sprite,
I mean, we've talked about how Kramer feels about it. He feels the only.
Mojito. The mojito, I have the Sprite and the rum and the muddled mint.
Pertinent insiders are the ones that are when the officers are buying at the highs.
Such a tough call.
Because that puts that much more confidence in their view of the
muddler. I need a muddler.
I do, but I think there's a lot better opportunities because you and I believe that, buy low, sell high,
I found a knife.
Buy on weakness. I mean, what I don't understand, Kramer pushes buying on weakness and not chasing, yet he'll chase an insider. But, we play it on a technical basis. He looks at fundamentals.
Right, I'm going to try
If I see a CFO or a CEO buying stock and there's an hourly or a daily or a weekly buy divergence setting up, that's sweet. I'm not even going to hesitate usually.
All right, so let's get the mint.
Right.
All right, let's break the mint up. Can you smell that?
Right.
I don't have enough for
you want some movement in it, but
probably.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
I did a bunch of.
It's gonna be a real minty one.
I did a bunch of
First
work
one
here.
Should always be the mintiest. Now I'm gonna try to muddle it. Can't muddle it too good in this friggin' plastic glass.
Right.
Because it'll fall.
Well, once you start on the ones that you're looking at, and we'll go over. For example, I want to go over some of the ones that we had mentioned the last time, which was about a month ago, a little over a month ago, about 5 weeks ago. It was like the first week in February.
So kind of stabbing it.
And I got to tell you, some of those are up. Oh, I can't wait to tell you how these are doing, the ones that are in the month.
All right, and then what I'm going to do is
the Walgreens,
put the ice in,
the Newell, the Edward Life Sciences, Chipotle, and the Dominion, and we like all of those. And there's significant purchases, which we'll go over again. But each one of them is up between 8 and 10%.
Half a Sprite, or maybe
after a couple of weeks.
A little less than half Sprite to Bacardi Superior White Rum.
It was, you did give me one. It was some shitty song called The Green Machine, because I was posting in green.
And then I'll mix it between two glasses.
Yeah. You know my theme song is Clutch, though. Let a poor man be.
On the spot mojito made.
But as far as I don't know, when you first gave me the color green to post in green,
background
came up with something.
Who's talking?
You said it was it was a Green Machine, and you found a song called Green Machine on pretty crappy song.
Who the hell's talking in the background? Hello?
Dude, I really like that song. I gotta tell you, it grows on you.
I'm back here. Someone said someone was talking in the background. How dare they? December contracts on the screen?
I'll look at it while you're pulling up. Go ahead.
I think you guys are in a different world.
Now it's UAA now? Because I see both of them listed.
Did I go off the air? I probably went off the air. Well, after all that work, I went off the air. Well, at least I recorded it for myself and for the podcasters out there, but it seems like the show went off the air here. Let me see.
There has only been there was
desktop
just sellers
era.
back in
Oh man,
August,
that's too bad. What a great
basically.
segment.
A lot
there.
of CEO, chairman peeling out of stock at like
That's
the
a bummer.
$42 level. Where is it now? Oh, smart guys.
That's a real bummer.
Shit, John, they're out on
great
Look at that.
audio things.
Yeah, that upper trend line.
Poof. Do you guys see me now? I'm like the anti-AT&T. Do you see me now?
Yeah.
Not hear me now. Do you see me now?
And I have to think, Johnny, that when these guys,
Well,
when insiders in the company go
so
to their
how far did you
brokers,
guys before I went off the air?
or they use if they use a certain broker that does like all of the companies.
It was very important that I did this.
Because I'm sure they all have the same
live
brokers.
with you.
I'm wondering if these guys are looking at it like we do, and they're like, "Oh shit, there's a weekly sell divergence, man. Maybe we better peel out of some of this here. You're up nicely and stuff."
Here,
but
Day Trading Radio.
What do we
I'm
know?
really pushing this machine to its limits tonight. I
definitely agree with that.
YouTube,
but back in August, you really had like
so I'm taking a different feed.
Had a slight daily sell divergence, but
all the platforms going. I'm going to close some things here. I'll close the briefing.
Okay.
All right, I need some participation tonight too. I need some back and forth. Did you hear Kramer did a segment on insight and purchases today? That was pretty interesting, right? Another thing is, how far did you guys get to hear me? Because I want to cheers you right now. Everyone got your drink. Do you know that I have a mojito in front of me?
I do have a good restaurant stock in the mix, which we'll go over with insider purchase. I haven't seen it. I've just seen small sales. And
cheers. Here's our mojito madness nighttime. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Ugh. That is so strong. Oh, way too strong. Ugh. Whew. Yeah. I'll kill you. Oh man. So we do have the
I saw a couple officers.
First thing I want to go over tonight is the setups that are on our list. In focus, some stocks that I'm in
Chief
this
Accounting
week,
Officer and General
what
Counsel
the best bet is for
and
tomorrow,
Vice Chairman
in case we
peeling
have
out of some stock here.
triads come into the office tonight or something.
That's okay though,
towards
John.
the park.
Remember, they sell for
so
all
here
different
comes,
reasons, but
Tight
they only
Stops are
buy for
checking
one.
in here. Hey, Rob.
You sleeping?
No.
Oh, okay. No, because you said you were going to take a nap before the show.
Oh no, I'm on the air now.
How come I don't hear you?
I don't know. You know what? It's because refresh.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, I had
All
some.
right,
I had some.
You want to call me on Skype?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. I don't.
I'll text you my number.
Text me it. All right.
I'll message it in the room.
All right. Great.
All right.
All right. Bye. All right. There you go. Yeah, I have a feeling that just pushing.
It doesn't really, John, because like I said, there's
so if you guys have
a whole host of reasons why they might be selling.
On so I could,
most of the time, it's just for tax purposes, I believe.
Right now, we're going to go with it.
So that's
So I want to get Tight Stops on the line. What's charred? Charred here, Blairski. What's charred? Is that a combination of a drink and a fish?
You know what? I haven't really focused on that. It's a good point, but
all right. Well, what I was going to go over is actually until I get
I'm really surprised with the market at all-time highs that I saw as many big insider purchases this week.
In the chat room, you could definitely.
You know what I mean? We're like at all-time highs, and these guys are buying it here. November 2014, when the market was really getting shellacked, and it was just about to turn the corner and start this huge run.
Stock in there,
I told you I had a spreadsheet, and it's on an old PC.
use your Twitter
on an
account.
old
Just look
laptop
up
that blew
DayTrader
up
Radio
on me,
and
but
tweet
I
it
had
in.
about
I usually
330 names, I believe,
respond to those.
and I think every one of them turned out to work out.
Oh, it's a
possibly.
Chardonnay.
I'm not
I
kidding
got
you. It was
it's a
every
Chardonnay.
name. I don't even think there was one that didn't work.
I'm just
If
not.
you got the insider purchases, you were up money.
I guess that's what they say on the island.
Tell him to hit refresh.
Tonight?
Sean just asked me the same thing. He's trying to listen in, but he's seeing dead air.
No, I'm going to go with the cab. I was going to go with the Myrrh. The Merlot. The Myrrh. I say Myrrh.
Oh, you know what
Right,
Sean's saying is a show on dead air on TuneIn app. So he's probably at work or driving home trying to listen to this. TuneIn Radio, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, if you're able to refresh that somehow.
All right, so Rob's number here.
Yeah, that's why I called you, because I was like, why don't I hear him? I know he's not sleeping by now. It's already 8:15.
Mm-hmm.
Nino's Pizza.
I knew it. I knew it was Nino's. He gave me the runaround again. God damn it. This is ice.
Oh, my goodness.
How you doing?
I'm going to tell Sean,
Yeah,
I'm going to tell Sean to go to DayTraderRadio.com.
It's a little stronger. I have to put a little bit more Sprite in. I made a mojito tonight. I got some fresh mint from
What happened to the Caparinas?
I might do one after this. I just, you know what? I have the Caparina stuff too. I haven't decided yet.
He's asked me too. Are you
I'm
taping this? I'm embarrassed to say I'm drinking Snapple right now. Okay. It's been quite a day.
Yeah. Well, that's fine, because I'm not a big drinker anymore anyway. I'm just, I'm doing it for you guys. As I always do. I'm always sacrificing for you.
Totally. You know what, man? Taking one for the team. One team, one dream.
Yep. If I got to drink tonight, I'm going to drink, but it's for you. One team, one dream. Let me fill it up. I got to fill this. Hold on a second. I got the headphones off. I got to just walk over.
And I can't check TuneIn Radio because I'm on the phone with you. When I'm on the phone, it cuts out the TuneIn Radio.
All right, there we go. I'm going to sit back down.
Is Anthony drinking with you?
What was that? I'm sorry. I just got that.
Is Anthony with you?
No, he's not. I took a nap after the right after the close. I took a nap and I saw I have a missed call, but he didn't leave a message.
Hey Giovanni,
but
you got your phone on you?
Earlier today, I didn't talk to him in the room.
Can you download an app?
Only doing the show.
TuneIn Radio, just to show up.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that type of. He
all
does
right,
with
do your
me.
homework. I'll let you know if I
need
need
he's
it.
willing to deal with the snow in Nyack.
Yes, nice Polish boy. Well, you know what? I just walked out. I told you my wife went to the lawyer today. Well, no, Gianni is John in Italian. And as we were leaving, the snow just started coming down. It's coming down now again.
Wow.
Hey, Johnny. What's going on?
I chose Giovanni because when he was born, I worked with 4 Robs and 2 Tonys. And I was like, I'm not naming my son after me because anytime you mention Rob on a trading desk, it's like, which Rob? I think it's just going to be a little bit more of a mess. And 3 of us would answer at the same time.
Forecasting any big amounts.
No, not at all. But just enough to ruin my evening. Let's make it a good show, and we'll...
Hey, first of all, have you heard that Kramer tonight, did a special on insider purchases?
It's funny, I just got a text from Sean at around 6:30 saying Kramer talking about insiders.
I think he did a special segment.
What do you mean by down? I just got back in this car, had trouble, and we had to
do it, and they do it.
We had to drag it home with a rope.
Dude, the news is out, man. First, you heard it here first.
Those damn stock blockers.
God, stock blockers.
Tell me what it was, though, because I was trying to learn, figure out what's breaking and what's not.
He feels the only pertinent insiders are the ones that are when the...
You mean producer on the shuttle?
Okay, Sean says it's good now.
Put that much more confidence in the.
You believe that? You believe you got.
You do realize that does not have to be on for the tune-in radio to work.
I think there's a lot
the audio doesn't come back from that machine back to the other machine, the playback machine. The playback machine was up and working like normal, but the producer was off.
Buying on weakness and not chasing, yet he'll chase an insider.
Yeah.
You know. But, you know, we play it on a technical basis. He looks at fundamentals.
I don't see any CarMax in there, but I saw it up on your screen, but I remember there used to be a lot of insiders in
weekly buy divergence setting up. That's sweet.
And I remember for like
sometimes
weeks it would be at like
but it doesn't work
30 between, I think it was like 48 bucks. Got long, never did anything, and now look at the thing, traded up to 70. I mean, it was a while back.
For some reason. You know, I love the stocks that are just moving up. You know, and pulling back a little.
You said you had a few stocks you want to focus on before we went through insiders, but the ones that you had mentioned, I was just commenting on whether I saw any activity in it.
And, I did a bunch of...
Oh, CWSA, great.
I did a bunch of work here, so...
Yeah, I want to, you know, I actually want to jump back and forth. I'm thinking the way we should do this instead of... I know that you have a lot of information. We're going to go through that, but I also just want to cover a few stocks tonight, too, so we could...
right.
We'll jump back and forth.
Once you start on the ones that you're looking at,
yeah,
and we'll go over. For example, I want to go over some of the ones that we had mentioned the last time, which was about a month ago, a little over a month ago, about 5 weeks ago. It was like the first week in February, and I got to tell you, some of those are up. Oh, I can't wait to tell you how these are doing. The ones that
you can tell me what the common denominator, which ones were the real, you know, like
you don't know, we know
the Walgreens.
Yeah.
The Newell.
Johnny, I can't. I feel like we just have the edge over everybody.
Chipotle
and the shit that we know.
And the Dominion, and we liked all of those. And there's significant purchases, which we'll go over again. But each one of them is up between 8 and 10%.
Nice. Now,
after a couple of weeks.
Hey, Mountain Bear, Fro in the room saying that we didn't do your tight stop.
Light selling.
Did we come up with a song, a tight stop song?
Nothing.
Did we do that,
no purchases.
My short-term memory just really shot to hell. I kind of remember that we were going to have a jingle, right?
You did give me one. It was
I forgot it already.
Some shitty song called The Green Machine because I was posting in green.
Oh, really? I gotta think. We should have a, you know.
My theme song is Clutch, though. Let a poor man be, but.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
But,
I mean, I'll throw it out there. My number's in the chat room. You want to ask me something?
Green,
if I can talk to you, if I can't talk to you at the time, I'll tell you to call me at a better time, and we'll pick a time.
Green Machine, I got.
I mean, I got newbies who just joined after the expo that are calling me, texting me, and I have no problem with that. Anybody who has a passion to learn this stuff,
I really like that song. I got to tell you, it grows on you.
It sure does. I mean, I like it too.
It is, John. Just like Sean said, he never spoke to another trader before.
My best bet for
and now he has a host of how many people we have in the chat room? There's only 80 in here right now, but on any given day, 120, 150 people could probably,
you
know,
I mean, this thing has been crushed down from over $50 last
shit, I would talk hours on this stuff. Probably why my wife's getting rid of me.
Over a year.
Now it's UAA now because I see both of them listed.
Well, they're both. They they did that deal. They did something where they an A-share stock, and now they have the other stock. So they're both Under Armour. They both have identical patterns to them. It's just that one's an A-share, and I'm in the A-share. I mean the UAA right now. Today we talked about.
There has only been there was just sellers back in August.
Well, I do like end of the year purchases only because we know about the January effect. Right around Christmas, these beaten down stocks, the ones that are the most beaten down, they can outperform the market over the first couple of weeks of the year. Well, that's a perfect time for an inside officer in a company to buy its own stock if it's beat down. Because even some of these cheaper names, the $2, $3, $4, $5 stocks, or even the teenagers, you see those things running. But again, there's so many nuances there. You also got to worry about technicals. You got to worry about other tax sellers at the time. So,
or they use if they use a certain broker that does like all of the companies execution and stuff, because I'm sure they all have the same brokers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if these guys are looking at it like we do, and they're like, "Oh shit, there's a weekly sell divergence. Maybe we better peel out of some of this here." Nicely.
I actually forgot about that stock.
What do we know?
Well, we know a lot more.
Pershing
than
Square,
the
which
average
is
person,
Ackman.
I think, especially when it comes to
March
I definitely
13th,
agree with that.
they
but
sold
back
their
August,
whole
we really
position.
Had like a
we never know
I
what
mean,
the future.
had a slight daily sell divergence, but
They sold 18.1 million shares for $199 million in proceeds,
I think we get up to
and they have 0 shares left. And if
UAA,
you want,
we get up
here,
to 20 period moving
I'll
average, which
actually
is
show you a screenshot.
we're talking about another $1 to the upside on a target, so $1 to the upside, and then a further target up to another $1. So I think you get
Just put it in
$2
the main room.
on this trade, which is 10%. You know, it's not a bad trade. It's a high probability setup off the trend line. I like that one going into
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
can even
The Brinker,
shrink it.
I'll get it out of the way.
Okay,
Just want to update
awesome.
you. Fantastic pickup here. We're in the money.
Here, Johnny, this one's better. Show this one.
We pushed up against the resistance area. EAT. There's another one. Any of these, Rob, I know you're probably looking
Hey, Johnny,
at
when you get a chance, ask
So
Rob
that goes
if you
back
ever
to
seen anything like
from
that
March.
in
This
hot
restaurant
stocks.
business.
Inside
It's,
stuff.
it's either
I do have a good restaurant
from
stock in
today,
the mix, which
basically
we'll go
all the way
over,
back to
Yeah.
June 10th.
with insider purchase.
all right.
I haven't seen it. I've just seen small sales in EAT.
Yeah. But a nice bounce, and I think I think we go higher on the longer term. And then the CWST.
But look at
I
the
think
top.
you gotta
Shares
get in
total
here.
now is 0. That means
Even
they
though
have
it's a
nothing
$12
left.
stock, I'm in it. I think this is the beginning of a big move. Just came out of this channel. We pulled back a little. Anytime we see a stochastic divergence and we get a bigger move, especially a breakout of the
Now,
channel,
do you see a huge
lots
volume
of times we
spike
get a
in
higher
that
low being put in by the stochastics.
18 million share
You know,
trading?
because
I don't know
that
how
really
many VRX normally trades on a given day. What's the average daily volume is?
1258 CEO.
Average volume is
Chief
18 million
Accounting
shares.
Officer and General Counsel.
Wow.
And
I
Vice
guess that
Chairman
must have
Bill
bumped up
Nash
because,
stock
but I don't
here.
see a huge spike in
That's
volume
right
there.
up in there, the highs
That's
here.
okay though, John.
Oh,
Remember,
wait.
Yeah.
They sell for all different reasons, but they only buy for.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, just to give you an example, here was a perfect divergence back here in 2016, the higher low. And what happens is we push up and we put in a higher low. Usually after we have a divergence, you have another higher low, which continues that channel. So I expect this, actually, we had that divergence. We
Actually,
pulled
it was
back. I
December
expect this to be a
12th.
higher
They
low and push a
sold
little higher.
$51 million
You
worth
know
of
what?
stock, which
Like you said,
equated to
he's
about
probably
3.5 million
scaling out
shares.
on things unless it's a really big, issue.
Yeah.
What do you think
See
about
how
that?
his
How many
share
times
total
do you
is
look at
100
something? You have
is
great,
now only
great
18 million shares then?
chart
Well,
set
guess
up,
what?
everything's looking
Now
good,
he
and then you look at
liquidated the
inside
rest of that
purchases
position.
or
So he
sellers, and
sold
you see some sellers. in it. Does it
3.5
mess
million
with your
shares
head
at
all?
$14.85 on December
It doesn't
12th.
really, John, because like I said,
And then all of a sudden, he
a
threw
whole
out
host
the
of
rest of
reasons
the
why they
position
might be
2
selling.
days ago.
Most of the time, it's just for tax purposes, I believe.
Yeah.
That is a
Another
haircut.
question
That's
that you just kind of tagged on there, tax purposes. Do you see more insider purchases and buying?
So even billionaires lose money,
Or
Johnny.
is there a certain time of year you will see that position being taken? End of the year, beginning of the year?
You know what? I haven't really focused
Yeah.
on it. It's a good point, but a lot of times, and I'm really surprised with the market at all-time highs that I saw as many big insider purchases this
No,
week.
and just as an example, I've said it before that sometimes when an insider purchase is announced, you'll buy it and the thing will stay down for a couple of weeks. It's only because some of these stocks have such a low float and low volume. For these guys to get out of that whole position, sometimes they call their brokers and they're like, you know what, I just want out of this whole thing. And there's a seller in the market and they're going along and they're just trying to sell the shit. And then as soon as they're done, boom, it's like the ceiling has been ripped off. And now it can only go up now.
I don't even think
It's just like a market maker who's in a stock.
the insider purchases.
Once he's done, there's nobody else to sell stock. I mean, I guess
hit
people
refresh.
might be selling the stock now as soon as they see today that Ackman blew out of his whole position. This thing may gap down in the morning, but by the same token, this thing may go back to 12 or 13 in the next couple of days, just because there's nobody leaning on it anymore.
I could get off broadcasting on on the.
Oh, you know what Sean's saying is a show on dead air on TuneIn app. So he's probably at work or driving home trying to listen to this.
Oh, TuneIn app. All right, let me see.
No, TuneIn Radio. I don't know if that has nothing to do with it. If you're able to refresh that somehow.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I saw them pop up, I mean, I could quickly go through some of the ones that I know and see if there's anything in there. And especially because all of the people looking for these lottery tickets. My brother's no different. He dumped $5,000 into each name. I was like, you're an idiot.
Thank you for the update.
I told you not to do that. He's like, well, it just seemed logical. Yeah, you know, the election was coming, and 2 weeks before, I got emails saying, I go, listen, you got emails by guys that have been long for months, and they're dumping their shares to you. You know, so.
If you're out there listening on YouTube,
what's that
you're
Paul's
going to have to
one?
just go to
CBIS?
DayTraderRadio.com. I'm going to shut off the YouTube feed here.
Yeah.
And output here is going to be...
you know what? Because it's a garbage stock, it doesn't even come up on Finland.
I feel sorry about sending all those emails. I feel guilty.
No, that doesn't come up.
I'm going to tell Sean.
What's the one on CRTC? I got a lottery ticket in that
but I'm going to get the...
Nothing.
None of them come up, John, because they're all such crap stuff.
Just give me...
GWPH is the only legitimate one. Let's see if there's anything in that one.
Let's see what's going on in the background.
GWPH, no insiders in it at all.
The outside feed. Let's see if it's on.
He's asked me too. Are you
there's only a...
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
All right, so that's
There's
on.
only 22 million shares outstanding, so...
All right.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody selling this thing. But tell Paul I will, if I ever see anything in his pot stock, that I'll let him know first.
Yeah.
Even before I buy it.
I think I found the problem. It's show's not on.
Blair says it's probably TuneIn Radio because I'm on the phone with you. When I'm on the phone,
tell Rob I said thanks.
I got the TuneIn Radio.
I found out what's wrong. It's just not on. I got it on now.
Nice.
Let me just move this over.
Hey, Giovanni. Yeah. You got your phone on you? Yeah. Can you download an app? TuneIn Radio?
Should be working now.
All right. Do your homework. I'll let you know if I need you.
Giovanni, his name is?
Yes. Nice Polish boy.
Is that John? Is that John? Does that mean John?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, no, Gianni is John in Italian.
All right.
But...
Well, thank you.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on?
I chose Giovanni because when he was born, got to be a huge purchase. Robs and 2 Tonys. And we'll go over a couple of those. Got to be a huge purchase. Rob on a trading desk by either CEO or the chairman. 3 of us would answer at the same time.
No, hey Paul. No, I got it. Well, the outside was down, so I logged in and.
CFO is a huge one because, like I said, especially in beaten down stocks, if it's a big purchase, there's no way a CFO is going to buy $500,000 or $1 million plus worth of stock if he thinks a company is going under. You got to remember, he's the guy with the balance sheet. He's the guy watching the books.
All right.
If he sees value in the thing, he's going to be buying it. So you know what? I want to be buying it too. And there's a couple CFO purchases in here that we'll go over.
Trying to learn, figure out what's breaking and what's not.
You know, there's some really good people. But again, another thing I like too, and you can't discount it, is when a director buys stock in a company, just a director, and more than likely the director makes not nearly as much as upper management. Okay, Sean says it. So if you see a director in the company putting his hard-earned cash, I don't care if it's a $150,000 purchase.
You realize that
if that's the case, I might be buying it. The other thing is too is keep in mind as to how much they increase their position by. Or if it's a new position, if it's the first time they're ever buying the company's stock, that sticks out like a sore thumb to me. And we had a couple of those, which will go over.
Off.
I don't see any CarMax in there, but I saw it up on your screen. But I remember there used to be a lot of insiders in that one. And I remember for like weeks it would be at like
I'm embarrassed to say, my mother-in-law cooked, and she made her pepper steak, which is god-awful. She's a horrible cook. I hate to say that, and I'm whispering it. But,
so where do we leave off at?
so my wife said to me, she's like, listen, I know you hate my mother's cooking. Why don't we just stop and get you something? And then, the ones that you mentioned, I was just commenting. I made the mistake of going to Wendy's,
let me get
which
the
I
rest of
don't
that.
normally eat, and my
CWSD
stomach is
That
a
was
mess.
to go, a little insider selling on that.
I can't stomach that stuff anymore.
Perfect.
Maybe because I'm getting older or what, but
that stochastic divergence bottom out of this channel, so I expect this to rotate back up.
No.
Like I said, when we talk about...
No, I'm telling you, man, new life for Rob, clean living.
That comment out there
I
because
really don't drink much.
Yourself. You might have a great setup
with you guys.
But then you'd say, why are the insiders going? Don't they see
anyone around you guys, I don't drink really.
What the hell's wrong with you?
But, exercising every day, riding the bike every day, going to the beach before the open.
Like, why would you be selling into a different
ocean air, cleaning my head, and then coming back and making $1,500, and then going back to the beach. You don't know, we know.
Yeah.
That's my plan. Johnny, I don't know how it works out, but that's my plan. And so I'll bring him back to the apartment for lunch.
The other one was, and I saw it today. I didn't bring it up on the chart today, but the Sienna, an old school.
I hope not. I like how this tan that screen tan has.
Look at this again. I see this is definitely going back up. Had a big.
I don't know, man. They're trying to take care of myself.
Probably, follow through candles tomorrow on this too. And then
I like selling.
Gotta be Superman.
Nothing. No purchases.
I got a long life ahead of me, man. I can't be blown.
Do you notice
hanging out in bars and sucking in cigarette smoke?
Maybe some of the listeners would like to hear.
It's got to be a warrior, man.
If you're out there listening and you want to ask a question to Tight Stops,
can't go in the battle if you're not a warrior.
To me, you know how to do it. You could even send an email into DTRS@daytraderradio.com, and Tight Stops is easy to get a hold of too. He's not bashful. He loves to talk to traders, not to throw him in there. But,
No, nothing. I mean, I'll throw it out there. My number's in the chat room.
Yeah.
You want to ask me something, if I can talk to you, if I can't talk to you at the time, I'll tell you to call me at a better time, and we'll pick a time. But, I mean, I got newbies who just joined after the expo that are calling me, texting me, and I have no problem with that. Anybody who has a passion to learn this stuff, we're able to teach them.
And I appreciate that. It feels good.
It is, John. Just like Sean said, he never spoke to another
RPM is in fuego.
And
hold RPM for the long haul.
What? How many people do we have in the chat room? There's only 80 in here right now, but on any given day, 120, 150 people could probably, he can talk to.
Yeah.
And shit, I would talk for hours on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably why my wife's getting rid of me.
Well, then I'm not far behind.
Brother from another mother in the same boat.
All right, so let me think of the last couple, and then we'll get more into those insights. But like I said, I was going to ask you a couple of questions. We talked about maybe the time of year if we see any more insider purchases or sellers. Is that is there a time frame that we could see that? But you said maybe not, no, maybe so. There was
I think I do like end of the year purchases only because we know about the January effect.
Yeah.
Right around Christmas, these beaten down stocks, the ones that are the most beaten down, they tend to outperform the market over the first couple of weeks of the year. Well, that's a perfect time for an officer in a company to buy its own stock if it's beat down. Because even some of these cheaper names, the $2, $3, $4, $5 stocks, or even the teenagers, you see those things running. I mean, but again, there's so many nuances there. You also got to worry about technicals.
Yeah.
You got to worry about other tax sellers at the time. So,
how about a stock like Valiant and Ackman getting out of it? Will you see? Has that shown up on the radar? And does it lead you? I mean, did that show up as an insider sell? I think it's VRX.
I actually forgot about that stock. Pershing Square, which is Ackman.
Yep.
March 13th, they sold their whole position.
So they did. So it shows up. Everything shows up. And how you're looking at...
They sold 18.1 million shares. I planned it for like 2.5 weeks. What I was going to say, I rehearsed it forwards and backwards, just trying to quickly...
Hold on. I want to
actually show you a screenshot.
Show me a screenshot or show me what you're looking at, and I can bring it up on the screen. Are you looking at the FinViz?
Yeah, here. Show that.
I just put it in the main room.
All right, I gotta drag that over. So.
And I would say, and they told me I was gonna be on it one day, and they're like, oh shit, we ran out of time, but you'll be first one on tomorrow.
No, that's I
get that. Awesome. Hey, Johnny, this one's better. Show like her.
All right, hold on. All right, I see.
Hey, Johnny, when you get a chance, ask Rob, has he ever seen anything like that in the pot stocks, the insider stuff?
Back to today. 6 references.
All right,
basically,
I will do that.
Back to June 10th.
I heard it live and about shit in my pants.
Rob is showing here. Go over this. I won't forget that question there, Paul. Pershing Square, Capital Management Director, sale, 3,476,000 shares, total value, shares total.
But look at the top. Shares total now is 0. That means
yeah. The one on top. That's the one I'm looking at. Sorry. Yeah. So they sold the year before at 14.85, and then boom, blew out here. 18 million shares.
He even said my full name.
0.
I set the bar too high, Johnny. Now, do you see a huge volume spike in that 18 million shares trading? I don't know how many. And an infamy, the best phony phone call ever. Average volume is 18 million shares.
That's funny.
I guess that must have bumped up even, but I don't see a huge spike in volume there.
When did it happen? I see it on the 14th.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
And then back, but then they sold some more. What was it the last time they sold? It was probably here, right? On the 28th, of February 28th and February 14th, there were 2 spikes in volume. And it was
actually, it was December 12th. They sold $51 million worth of stock, which equated to about 3.5 million shares.
All right, let me take a look. December 12th.
Awesome. Yeah. See how his share total is.
John, and the whole time I'm thinking, let this bastard cut me off. Don't let them cut me off. Let me get it all in.
Now he liquidated the rest of that position. So he sold 3.5 million shares at 14.85 on December 12th.
Yep. 18
million.
One of my finer moments.
2 days ago.
Yeah. Wow.
That is a haircut.
Yeah. That is a big one. Yeah, and you know what?
So even billionaires lose money, Johnny.
And I wouldn't be surprised, and I would probably even take this bet if you had odds that this is the bottom.
Was it Vegas Dave that was on?
It just seems so perfect that, and even for Carl Icahn to take that.
I thought that was the guy that was in there. He gave like a college shout out or something like that, some sports team from a college.
As an example, I've said it before that sometimes when an insider purchase is announced, you'll buy it and the thing will stay down for a couple of weeks. It's only because some of these stocks have such a low float and low volume. For these guys to get out of their whole position, sometimes they call their brokers and they're like, you know what?
You had said initially, if you get Day Trading Radio or DayTraderRockStar on there, you'll get a lifetime membership. And I decided to go for the full Monty and go for the full boat and get as many references in as possible. I probably should have said I trade with Ted South. Thank you.
In a stock. Once he's done, there's nobody else.
That would have been pushing the envelope, though, John. I think it was long enough and it was perfect.
He's selling the stock now as soon as they see today that Ackman blew out of his whole position. This thing may get down to
the video.
By the same token, this thing may go back to 12 or 13 in the next couple of days just because there's nobody leaning on it anymore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what? I didn't post something on that. Anyway, Rob, Paul chimed in before. I don't know if you heard him, but he wanted to know if you ever see any insider activity on pot stocks, marijuana type stocks.
No, I have not.
He was very nervous.
And I mean, if I saw them pop up, I mean, I could quickly go through some of the ones that I know and see if there's anything in there. And especially because all of the people looking for these lottery tickets, my brother's no different. He dumped $5,000 into each name.
Hi, Jim. I
was like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I told you not to do that. He's like, well, it just seemed logical. You know, the election was coming, and 2 weeks before, I got emails saying, I go, listen, you got emails by guys that have been long for months, and they're dumping their shares to you.
You hear how nervous he was?
So, what's that Paul's favorite one? CBIS?
Yeah, CBIS is one of them.
Just wanted, you're sort of like a
you know what? Because it's a garbage stock, it doesn't even come up on Tinder.
I feel sorry about sending all those emails. I feel guilty.
No, that doesn't come up. What's the one I'm in? TRTC. I got a lottery ticket in that one. Nothing. None of them come up, John, because they're all such crap stocks.
Yeah.
GWPH is the only legitimate one.
Yeah,
Let's see if there's anything in that one.
GW.
GWPH.
I'm sorry, John. It's just, I think it's awesome.
And there's only 22 million.
It's just so, it's awesome for you and for us. And it's only good for us. Nobody else in this world gives a shit about this. But
All right.
But tell Paul I will if I ever see anything in his.
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone now. I still have the mics working.
Let him know first.
Johnny, my wife didn't understand why I was so adamant about this, because she doesn't hear this shit go on during the day with her.
She says they're selling. Probably.
You know.
Sending out a little email.
Yeah, tell
Rob.
Rob,
He says,
hey,
10-4,
Rob, you
good
remember
buddy?
that night that it was that day that you were going to call in, and I told you, man, you need to call him and tell him like you're in a bind because
right,
somebody
so
talked you into something you're not sure with good advice, and you kind of took that angle.
Last time when we talked about
you remember that?
But
right
when we get down to what the
I
important
don't. That was a pretty crazy day.
I
But.
know, like
I remember you saying you were like, I got it, I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and then you called me. Rob was so excited when it got recorded because he was pretty sure that he got everything in because the call went like you kind of expected. You got to talk to Kramer all the way to the end and everything. And then me and him, I remember I was sitting there waiting, and I finally I could not believe it, man. You nailed it. You got everything in there. I can't think of anything else that you could have gotten in there.
What is something you most
I
likely
figured
always
20
take?
seconds was the max that I was going to get, and it was almost 30 seconds according to the phone call.
And we'll go over a couple of those.
Did you rehearse it a few times?
I did.
CEO.
I didn't want to stutter. I didn't want to
be CEO or chairman,
so I just rambled it off like 20 times in a row, and I was like, I got this.
CFO.
Just give me my chance, coach. Put me in.
Because, like I said,
and you already had a lifetime membership, so I don't even know why we even did.
There's no way
you knocked it out of the park, man.
I got to earn my keep, you know? So I do what I do for you guys. I also enjoy it.
Going on there. You got to remember, he's the guy with the balance sheet. He's the guy watching the books.
Yeah.
If he sees value in this thing,
He do that. Bow down to me. I'll teach you guys the ropes.
And there's
he was like, "Here's what you want to do."
He just does
Because I've seen enough Kramer shows and enough lightning rounds to be able to,
director buys
do this.
stock in a company, just a director, and more than likely the director makes not nearly as much as upper management. So if you see a director in the company putting his hard-earned cash, I don't care if it's a $150,000 purchase. If that's the case, I'm
going to hang up and listen. I just want to thank you guys for doing the show.
Keep in mind as to how much
Thanks for tuning in.
their position.
Yeah, man. I'm listening. I'm working on this audio box I'm making, but I'm listening.
First time they're ever buying the company stock.
Appreciate it, Rob.
Sticks out like a sore thumb to me. Anytime, Paul.
All right.
And we had a couple of those, which we'll go over.
All right. Let's see. Let me just. I gotta send something out here for a second. Make sure everyone's. Hear that little whistle I got again. 1 second there, Rob. What are you eating tonight? Did you eat? You had. What was your?
I'm embarrassed to say, my mother-in-law cooked, and she made her pepper steak, which is god awful. She's a horrible cook. I hate to say that, and I'm whispering it, but. So my wife said, she's like, listen, I know you hate my mother's cooking. Why don't we just stop and get you?
What are you going to play, the Ram in the Bush?
All right. So I made the mistake of going to Wendy's.
It just grows on you. You don't have to play the whole thing. Just play part of it.
Yeah.
I can't stomach that stuff anymore.
I can't either.
Maybe because I'm getting older or what, but.
Well, you did the right thing. You can't. You're not supposed to do that.
Is that wheat taping you?
Hold on.
No, I'm telling you, man. New life for Rob, clean living.
Yeah.
I really don't drink much.
No.
Just when I'm out with you guys.
Yeah.
But and even when I'm out with you guys, I don't drink really.
And he's standing, exercising every day, riding the bike every day, going to the beach before the open. You wake up and he's just staring at you. Ocean air, clearing my head, and then coming back and making $1,500, and then going back to the beach for noon.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's my plan. He's like a cat. He's stealing your breath in your sleep. And sober, I'll bring him back to the apartment for lunch.
Are you gonna have? You're gonna get all like beach tan and like leather.
He's not from around here, Johnny. Give him a break.
You're gonna become what he's.
Dude, I hope not. I'd like to have the tan that Screen Tan has. God love him. I don't know, man. I'm trying to take care of myself.
Yeah. Hear that? Yeah, it's important. All right.
I've got to be Superman. You know, I got a long life ahead of me, man. I can't be blowing it just by hanging out in bars and sucking in cigarette smoke and.
No.
You know. It's got to be a warrior, man.
I have another.
Can't go in the battle if you're not a warrior.
No, I had a couple of these airlines lined up today, and Buffett recently bought some airlines. The American Airlines. I don't know if that was he bought the Southwest, and I think he's something else. But take a look at these airlines. This is what we call 200 EMA channel line breakdown, channel line bounce, 200 EMA breakdown, channel line bounce. And,
it's on YouTube if you're able to do that. But.
And all of them have huge candles today. Beautiful candles on trend lines.
Let's see if we've seen any in the airline stocks. AAL.
Oh, the RPM too. We want to look at RPM.
Play my theme song, man. RPM is in fuego.
Yeah.
Hold RPM, Mandy.
That's what we're going to do right now. Hold RPM. This is a new one here, people. If you haven't heard it, you're not going to believe this, but here at Day Trading Radio, and we have a lot of newer people listening since the trade show. You don't know that the person you spoke to is the famous Rob. This is something we're going to be touching base on, and there's a lot of people out there that don't even know this. We haven't played it since the trade show. Now, Rob, if you talk to Rob down at the trade show, great help. Came down there, sat, stayed at the booth, talked to people. You know him by tight stops. We have an ongoing contest, one of the biggest contests in the market, bigger than the millionaire contest on CNBC. If you could get on Kramer,
this is one of my favorite clutch tunes.
Get on Kramer,
it's live,
and get the name of the show, or if you could get the name of Day Trading Radio, DayTraderRockStar, Ram in the Bush, any of those three, you could get on there. You get a lifetime membership of Day Trading Radio, lifetime. And people have tried. We have many people have tried. I have them. I have lots of them that gotten on and they've done it. We have a Hall of Fame of these things, and usually you get on there and they kind of fumble around and they usually get Ram in the Bush, which is a big one. That way we all started out. You get Ram in the Bush on. If you get Ram in the Bush on Kramer, that's how it started, and that's a great one because it's an easy one to kind of snake in there. A lot of people would go, "Hey Kramer, a big Ram in the Bush, booyah!" to you. So that was kind of a cool thing. And a lot of people would get that through. So we heard that about 3 or 4 times on Kramer. Then we had Kramer, "Hey Kramer, you're a day trader rock star to me." And that was pretty cool. And then a couple more. That was about it. It was 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most. And here comes this young gun here, tight stops. He goes, "I'm going to go on." He plans it out. He plans it. He plans it from.
I planned it for like 2.5 weeks. What I was going to say, I rehearsed it forwards and backwards, just trying to quickly.
He planned this out. I know he planned it because he told me. He said, "I'm going on. I'm working on my script right now." He has a script for it. D-Day's coming up. He's going to get in. He has all the back doors covered. So they're going to call back. Everything is taken care of. Kids are out. Everyone.
They told me I was going to be on one day, and they're like, "Oh shit, we ran out of time, but you'll be first one on tomorrow."
Yeah. So he's keeping me updated on this and stuff, and I was like, "All right, this is just another person who's going to try to do it, and he's going to fail miserably, right? This is going to be it. It's not going to be." Next thing I know, the tweets start blowing up here. You got to hear what happened tonight. You got to see what's going on. He did it all. He did the full Monty. He got everything on there. And I said, "That's impossible." I said, "There's no one could do any better." Once you hear this.
I heard it live and about shit in my pants.
When you hear this, and you know what the aspects of the show are, we have the characters like RPM. We have the name of the show. We have the code name, Ram in the Bush. We have DayTraderRockStar. we have so many of these things that are key
they're
to our
actually
show.
awful live, which sucks because they're one of my favorite bands.
It's just like, it's unbelievable, and it can never be done. It can never be, he kind of ruined it for everyone else. We'll still have the challenge out there, but if you could do anything better than that,
full name.
If you set the bar too high, Johnny,
you set the bar so high that you ruined it for everyone else. Introducing here for those out there.
And in infamy, though, the best phony phone call ever.
Let's go to it. Let's do it live right now. Here we go.
Hey, what's going on? Rob, in my home state, New Jersey. Rob. Professor Kramer, I want to send a Rambot, Ram in the Bush booyah to you.
Rambot.
Like under your tutelage, I've become a day trader rockstar, so thank you first off. Thank you. I'm worried,
Johnny, why don't you skip this one and just move to the next one? Being it's such a crappy version.
I'm talking up ticker RPM, Robert Paul Matthews. Should we diversify by swapping out of J&J into RPM? No. I love J&J. RPM's good too, but this day trading stuff, I say stay day trade. RPM should be owned for the long term.
Awesome.
That is the best ever.
Johnny, and the whole time I'm thinking, don't let this bastard cut me off. Don't let them cut me off. Let me get it all in.
Ixnay means a good thing, right? That's right, Ixnay. Ixnay. Oh, that was so classic.
One of my finer moments.
Oh, let me bring up another one while we're thinking about it. I'll just show you that there's a comparison. We had other people. We had people crash and burn too, live on the. I wish I had the crash and burn one available here. I think we had a Sean. That's not the same Sean in the room, right?
No.
We had a Sean. Sean's been, he's been doing a good job trying.
Was it Vegas? This can be a live one too.
He might have been.
Was that his name?
Yeah, we
had
Vegas.
I like the studio version of this song.
Hold on.
I thought that was the guy that was in there. He gave like a college shout out or something like that. Some sports team.
Yeah, LSU Ram in the Bush. I mean, it is still out there. Any of those terms, Ram in the Bush. I think these are the three: Ram in the Bush, DayTraderRockStar, or Day Trading Radio. Those are the ones that account. All right. Those are the ones.
You had said initially, you get Day Trading Radio or Day Trader Rockstar on there, you'll get a lifetime membership. And I decided to go for the full Monty and go for the full boat and get as many references in as possible. I probably should have said I trade with tight stops, but thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been good too. Let's see. Let's listen.
That would have been pushing the envelope, though, John. I think it was long enough and it was perfect.
Oh, it was perfect. It was absolutely. I mean, it was perfect.
Will in
Pearl has
Texas.
the video from Twitter.
Ram in the Bush booyah to you, Kramer from Houston.
Oh, I like that, man. Houston, a lot of good companies there. What's going on?
Ram in the Bush. You hear that one?
Will in Texas. Will.
Ram in the Bush booyah to you, Kramer from Houston.
Oh, I like that, man. Houston, a lot of good companies there. What's going on?
Yes, sir. With the Japanese DK down.
He was very nervous. Very nervous.
He was very nervous. Very nervous.
Let me see another one here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think this is a crash and burn here. Let me see.
I need to go to Sean, also in California. Sean.
Hi, Jim. I'm a really big fan. Just wanted, you're sort of like a real...
Took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, like, literally.
He tried so hard to get Ram in the Rockstar. He just could not pull that one off.
You hear how nervous he was?
I need to go to Sean, also in California. Sean.
Hi, Jim. I'm a really big fan. Just wanted, you're sort of like
I laughed
Took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, like, literally.
Hey, you deserve it. You get on, you're good. We know what you're talking about. That was fine. Sean actually was a player. He came back and then got back on. He failed, but he didn't stop. Oh my God, that's too funny. Hold on, I turned.
Sorry, John.
I'm sorry.
I think it's awesome.
I just turned you off by mistake here. Add to the group call here. That was great. I got other ones here. There's Paul.
It's awesome for you and for us.
Yeah.
And it's only good for us. Nobody else in this world gives a shit about this. But
oh my God. we had to. I had to put them together. What happened to Paul? Paul chimed in, and
I'm
then
here.
Oh, you're there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my cell phone now. I still have my mics working.
Johnny, my
I just
wife didn't understand why I was so adamant about this because she doesn't hear this shit go on during the day with us.
That's what pushed her off the edge. That's why I made her leave you.
Yeah, probably.
Rob, hey Rob, you remember that night?
We got a lot to cover, John. There's a lot of insiders.
You were gonna call in, and I told you, man, you need to call him and tell him like you're in a bind because somebody talked you into something you're not sure it was good advice, and you kind of took that angle. You know, you remember that right before you did it.
All right, pull up your chart. We're going to go through one by one. First, we're going to start off with the 4 great ones that we had mentioned last month on our last insider trading segment.
So excited when it got recorded because he was pretty sure that he got everything in because the call went like you kind of expected. You got to talk to Kramer all the way to the end and everything. And then me and him, I remember I was sitting there waiting, and I could not believe it, man. You nailed it.
First one is the Walgreens, the WBA, William Boy Apple. I figured 20 seconds was the max that I was going to get, and it was almost 30 seconds according to the phone call. So
did you rehearse it a few times?
I did. Because I didn't want to stutter, I didn't want to misstep, so back on February 6th, if you guys remember, we spoke about this real time when it happened. Just give me my chance, Coach. Put me in. The COO
You already have a lifetime membership.
Over $10 million worth of stock, direct purchase now, which is very important. I got to earn my keep, you know? If you remember the difference between direct and indirect,
he was going to let these the greenhorns come in here and just run all over this place. Because you guys got to step up. We're going to make it a little bit harder.
Yeah.
A direct purchase is when you purchase in your name and you control directly in the accounts in your name. Like if the CEO of IBM buys 1,000 shares of IBM in his brokerage account, and he must disclose within 3 days, and he files what they call a Form 4, an Edgar filing, if you've ever heard Edgar filings before. That's one of the Edgar filings, the Form 4, and that's strictly for insider trading. Insider purchases, not insider trading. Remember, there's a difference. Insider trading is illegal. Insider purchases is totally legal.
I'm going to hang up and listen.
Versus an indirect purchase.
All right, thanks.
So as an example, many firms offer officers the opportunity to buy company stock at a discount through payroll deduction, or they have this, what they call a 10b-15 transaction. Or another example is just an officer of a company directs his broker to buy shares in his company stock in a family trust on behalf of his kids or his wife's IRA or whichever it is.
We got to put them all.
And I rarely buy indirect insider purchases unless it's a huge dollar amount.
All right, well.
That's the one caveat about indirect purchases. So
insider stuff,
in this Walgreens, so the co-CEO bought $10 million worth of stock, direct purchase at $80.93 on February 6th.
Let me bring that up.
And I told you many times when I trade the insiders, I like to hold part of it for at least 10% of the move. So 10% of whatever they pay, 10% higher from whatever purchase price they paid.
Until I can pour myself a drink.
And when you know they bought it at $80.93, look at the high 2 weeks later.
Once again.
What's that high, Johnny, on that big green candle? Is Dawit taping you?
No, he's not taping me. Dawit, I kicked him out of here.
That's about, so 2 weeks later, that's up about 10%.
At the end of the day, I need.
But that was a huge purchase. $10 million out of your own pocket. K-Rod might be able to swing that, but I can't. So when I see somebody buying that kind of stock,
like Sling Blade,
I'm buying it too. And I didn't take nearly the 10% that I was looking for. I saw a couple bucks, took it off, and thought I was a champ, and it ran another $6.
Is he gonna kill me? You know?
He's like a cat. He's stealing your breath in your sleep.
Very weird. Let me see if I could find this RAM.
He's not from around here, Johnny. Give him a break.
No, he's not from this planet.
God love him.
Absolutely. I mean, he knows that.
He can, but I would think you would view that as a negative.
He always has a spot here.
Right? As if he bought it just in anticipation, knowing that people would follow him, and then he was, other guys are left holding the bag after he peels out of his stock. But
Bush, where is it all?
I said, but by the same token, if you remember, there was that crappy biotech stock that we were following, KBIO.
Let me see if I can.
And the stock was up 8. They all bought stock in the company. 2 days, the next day, not even 2 days later, the next day, the stock was up $18. The stock, the stock went. I have old notes from it. It went from $1.60 to $17 overnight.
No longer.
Oh, it's on YouTube if you're able to do that.
And a 10% owner bought huge positions in it.
Too much.
It was indirect, but it was a huge purchase, which is
let me just put on
one of the things I like.
Friggin' drink here.
Okay.
We'll start that segment next. What do you want to hear now?
Exactly.
You let me know what you want to hear.
Play my theme song. I gotta think so.
Let's do that.
I'd have to look and see. It was Antion Partners bought a ton on November 16th and 17th. That's where you can see it
background
actually. See the jump from $1.60 to $17 the next day.
On a journey.
If that's not criminal, Johnny, I don't know what is.
We're doing a twofer, Rob. Sorry.
Yeah, that one was criminal too. No, there's usually a lot of times, for example, when I worked at Payne Weber, we were told you couldn't do anything 2 weeks before or after an earnings report.
Yeah.
And there's a blackout period. You weren't allowed to trade
leave
it.
it on. Well, that's like, I gotta just get this taken care of here. Headphones are off. I can't hear anybody.
That was criminal, totally. You remember that? Would it pop $7 that day? Right.
All right. So I still have a little mint that's left over in the bottom of this cup. So this is what we like to take this. This is like when you have leftover in the bottom of a pan, you keep it there. I forget what they call it. As a cook, Rob probably knows what you call it. It's not the grizzle, but it's like it's called a certain thing.
All right, we got some more. We got good ones. I want to get to a bunch of them. All right, second one. Same day we were looking at it when we bought the WBA. And you remember I bought Newell Rubbermaid as soon as it came out within minutes. I made $649 in a matter of a few minutes.
All right.
It was obviously very premature for me to sell. So on February 6th, the president of Newell Rubbermaid bought $600,000 worth of stock. 2 weeks later, the stock was up over 10%.
I'm going to add the rum.
Yep. He bought it on that lower trend line, and that beautiful hammer.
I'll pour some of that out.
Basically.
Well, I just put in more Sprite.
And it actually kept going. It was actually up 20% if you tack on, because that first move was 10%. Then it pulled back, then it went sideways, and it popped another 10%, as you can see.
All right.
From 40 to 50, that's a real nice move in a $40 stock in a matter of 2 weeks.
And now I mix them together.
2.5 weeks. All right, next one. Same day. February 6th was a good day for insiders. Edward Life Sciences. EW.
And pour it all over my lap. All right.
Yep. February 6th.
Headphones are back on. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of live versions sometimes. It just doesn't have a clean cut to it.
Yeah, they're actually awful live. Don't know. Which sucks because they're one of my favorites. What was the market doing at that time? Was it after a big pullback? Just curious. I'm trying to remember what the market was doing February. First week in February.
We got the futures up 350 already. 350 tonight. God, it's already 9:30. Well, it's not that late. It's 9:30. Hope you're enjoying the show. We got tight stops on the line here.
Okay.
New highs on the
futures.
Sideways
movement,
we got a little segment of insider purchasing coming up next. Let me finish this song out. I'll make a call.
Walgreens. Why don't you skip this one and just move to the next one? WBA. Being it's such a crappy version.
Yeah. Go back to Edward Life Sciences. All right, so February 6th, a director, not even the CEO, a director bought $270,000 worth of stock. 2 weeks later, stock's up 10%. Right? 90 to 100. Boom. Okay, next one. Same day, February 6th, Chipotle. Now, you got to remember, you had said you loved the chart in it, you liked the stock, you thought it was due for a bounce. I said it was an insider. The guy only bought $159,000 worth of stock. That was only a few hundred shares. I think he bought 400 shares. I'd like to see a version of this. So $300 and $400 stock? He paid $398, I believe, or $397, if my notes are correct. It was up 8% 2 weeks later. This was a director.
Give me a second here. Just give me one more.
And that was a new position, Johnny. Remember, when you see a guy putting his money to work for the first time in his company's stock, that means something to me. That means he either knows something, and he has that much confidence in the stock. Either way, I'm buying too.
And watch this market make new highs.
I didn't buy this one. I probably should have bought options on it, but. Right. And like I said, I think that's a negative. That would be a negative sentiment if he bought it after 2 weeks and sold it. That would be pretty shitty as far as an officer in a company.
All right, that's good. Everyone's good.
And the final one from that week, it was actually the next day, February 7th. One of your favorite stocks that we used to trade all the time, Dominion, letter D. There it is again, February 7th. Big red candle there. Director buys $700,000 worth of stock. 3 weeks later, stock's up 10%. So you see me buy these things, I'm in and out in, minutes sometimes or the next day on a gap up. But if you have a big enough account, that's why I wish Maximilian would be trading these things, because I know he trades size. If he bought like 1,000 shares of every one of these insiders that come out, and that's when I used to trade them exclusively, that's what I would do. I would try to buy at least 1,000 shares of every insider, whether it was a $4 name or it was, a $50 name. But if you could buy options, even better, if they're liquid enough. But the problem is a lot of these insider purchases are in crappy names, and
finally,
they don't trade options well, and
enough to make a drink.
But so those are five solid names that were up between 8 and 10% over 2 to 3 weeks.
Good tune here.
That's got to mean something.
I want to calm that down here. I want to give people a little anxiety. Just late in the morning, just late at night. All right, so let's just take.
We got a lot to cover, John. There's a lot of insiders.
All right, so might as well start that. Let's do a little segment.
Well, much like you, when you do your watch list, you see all of the same names.
Thanks, Rob.
Start to rotate
off anytime you want. Just
back up or down in whatever space it is. The best ones I've seen lately, and you know why, are the oil and gas stocks. Mentioned last month. We have a couple of them that we're going to go over that are already in that are starting to be in play.
Here, let me bring up my charts. Now, I remember a few of them. I remember the New World Rubbermaid. But let's start with the ones. We'll go in your order. Go ahead.
Well, that's one thing I was going to say. If you have a stock that you really want to buy and it gaps down, that's an excuse to buy it. If you have a divergence and a gap down, you'd want to buy it. But if you have an insider purchase, a gap down,
it's actually
and a divergence,
chart, it's actually
it's a recipe for success. When we say stack the odds in your favor, it's no different than when I'm shorting something that violates a Keltner channel on a gap up that's a divergence.
If you guys remember,
you want to be the house. Stack the odds in your favor. Well, insider purchases by themselves are very powerful. But if you have other things that are leaning, that are
direct purchase now,
if you have other aspects or other nuances to these things,
if you remember the difference,
you got to take advantage of that.
We covered it,
I don't care if you buy 100 shares just to see that it works. And not all of them work, but most of them do. And what you don't make in one, you're going to make tenfold sometimes in the other.
Directly in the accounts in your name. Like
I don't like to stick around in insider purchases, and sometimes I'm the first one. I'm the first one in, and I'm the first one out.
Within 3 days,
but a lot of times, I just don't have the wherewithal or the account size to hold these things forever. But if you have a big account size, and especially if you like to swing trade, insider purchases might be for you.
Remember, there's a difference. Insider trading is illegal. Insider purchases is totally legal. Versus an indirect purchase. So, as an example, many firms offer officers the opportunities to buy company stock.
And I would say, and just to reiterate, we talked about this last time. The big question is, would tracking insider purchases fit into your trading plan? I don't know. Do you like to trade longer swings? Do you consider yourself to be less of a technical trader or a chartist? Do you work another job outside of trading and you just don't have time to sit and watch every tick? Do you like to build positions into weakness and hate to use hard stop losses? Well, insiders might be for you. If you answered yes to any of those questions, it's worth taking a look at, or at least tracking them or trading them in sim, whatever you want to do, but it's a valuable tool in your arsenal.
February 6th. And I told you many times when I trade the insiders, I like to hold for at least 10% of the move.
Dude, the Pet Rock, look how much money they made on the Pet Rock.
Higher from whatever purchase price they paid. And when you know they bought it at 80.93, look at the high.
Join Day Trading Radio.
What's that high, Johnny, on
88.
Big green candle?
88 and change. Which is an 8% move. 8% move.
That's about 2 weeks later.
Johnny, did you see Sean's coming?
But that was a huge purchase.
Here it again. Yes, it's for you.
K-Rod might be able to swing that, but I can't. So when I see somebody buying that kind of stock, I'm buying it too.
Oh, man, you guys make my day. All right, so let's go over some recent ones. A couple of them that I did purchase,
and thought I was a champ.
And I'm proud to say I made money on them already.
I mean, look at that thing. That is a nice run. Now, our insiders, there's a good question for you.
All right.
Our insiders,
pull it up.
Like
we mentioned this one today.
Allowed to trade their own
I didn't
stuff,
buy it,
like
but we
he gets
mentioned
in
it
here
today.
and then say, hey, I got 10% on this holding. I want to
Eddie
get
Charlie
out.
Apple.
And put in a sell, and then a 3-day notice comes out with a sell thing. I mean, is that?
He can, but I would think you would view that as a negative.
Yeah, it would be.
Right, as if he bought it just in anticipation, knowing that people.
Right. So look, it's an energy stock, which has been beaten up.
Yeah, I mean,
the president / CEO and the director bought $290,000 worth of stock, and it's a dual stochastic daily buy divergence right now. So between the 9th and the 15th, they were buying stock.
The next day, not even 2 days later, the next day the stock was up $18.
Yeah.
The stock went, I have old notes from it. It went from $1.60 to $17 overnight.
Yeah.
And a 10% owner bought huge positions in it. It was indirect, but it was a huge purchase, which is one of the things I like.
But then it comes right back down. I mean, why? Is he out of? Did he get out of that?
I gotta think so.
Yeah.
I'd have to look and see. It was Antheon Partners.
Yeah.
Bought a ton on November 16th and 17th.
That's where you can see it actually. See the jump from $1.60 to $17 the next day.
It's an incredible
If that's not criminal, Johnny, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Well, that's on our list too. We'll go over that one.
You get a big name person like if Jamie Dimon bought. He was almost given credit for calling the bottom in the pullback, recent pullback. He came and bought his shares, and then you had Steve Wynn buying shares. And I thought there was a quiet period.
Yeah, that one was criminal too.
There's
usually a lot of times. For example, when I worked at Payne Weber, we were told you couldn't do anything 2 weeks before or after an earnings report.
Yeah. Take a look at this Wynn Resorts.
Up here, you weren't allowed to trade it.
Wow, look at that consolidation on this. Now, Steve Wynn, I remember him getting in.
That was criminal, totally. You remember details and conduct. So the president / CEO and the director, so two guys, bought $290,000 worth of stock between the 9th and the 15th of March.
It was at least $7 pop. Now look at the nice.
Purely criminal. So that little last dip that we had
caused the same thing to happen in this stock. It's probably just a criminal.
That's one of them. Yeah.
If he sells it, if it helps the stock, well, probably people who are in it are like, "Oh, right on."
All right, we got some more. I gotta think the brokers are advising them, "Hey, look at this downward channel." I don't know if they do what we do. They're just trying to make their commission, but I gotta think they're trying to take that into consideration. At least I know I would be a great broker, and I would offer that assistance or that guidance. It was obviously shit, John. I may just go be a retail broker. For me to sell. So on February 6th, the president of Newell Rubbermaid bought $600,000 worth of stock. 2 weeks later, the stock was up over 10%. Yeah, phonetic. I'm giving it wrong. I'm just saying Apple.
When it actually dropped is when he bought it, and it was a divergence.
Yep.
Perfect channel, everything
nice. RPM, Robert Paul Matthews.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's just a nice. Love that stock.
And it actually kept going. It was actually up 20% if you tack on, because that first move was 10%. All right, next one. Then it went sideways, and it popped another 10%. Eddie Robert Indian. From 40 to 50. Echo. That's a real Romeo. In a $40 stock in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
ERII.
Next.
2.5 weeks.
Good one.
All right, next one. Same day. Right, so this is actually a pollution and treatment control stock. Sciences.
LIFE?
We use a pollution control stock in my house.
EW.
But ERII, Director and General Counsel, bought a total of $175,000
worth of
stock.
Of them came out on
there's a dual stochastic and a daily buy
in early February. Why is that?
There you go. See it? Anybody see it?
Gap down. Like we got a gap down. And we
what was the market doing at that time? Was it after a big pullback? Just curious.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the SPX.
Right, what the market was doing in February. First week in February. In Canada. You did
February was going sideways. It was not really a pullback. It pulled back
Yeah,
slightly.
I'll send you a list, Johnny.
Nothing really.
Okay. Yeah, sideways movement, but
you can see that the EW pulled back. The
I'll post a screenshot of what I have
down
rather than email to everybody. I'll post some screenshots.
Where a lot of stocks gap down.
Open the links and keep them up on your computer. You can follow them along with us tomorrow.
One before that. What was the other one before that?
Over the next couple of weeks.
It was almost the same thing.
Walgreens.
WB.
Nice hammer, right?
This, that was all in that same zone. It's all after a pullback. This was not a gap down or anything, but they all had nice moves off of that. All right, so what was the last one we're looking at?
Go back to Edward Life Sciences.
EW. All right. There we go.
All right, so February 6th, a director, not even the CEO, a director bought $270,000 worth of stock. 2 weeks later, I did 10%. It wasn't a huge purchase, but you got two guys buying stock. When you see multiple guys buying stock or multiple people over multiple days, that means something. Okay. Next one. Because what happens is the big guys buy stock, all of a sudden they whisper to their secretary, and the secretary tells the director, and the director tells the custodian, and everybody all of a sudden is buying stock. It was due for a bounce. I said it was an insider.
Totally. The guy only bought so manipulated. $59,000. You know what? We're on the right side of the manipulation. A few hundred shares. I think he bought 400 shares. Because it's a $300 and $400 stock. All right, next one. And it's a GP. 398, I believe, or 397, if my notes. Let me do it correctly. Alpha.
I like it.
Charlie was up 8% 2 weeks later. Tango.
Who was this? The director?
This was a director. And that was a new position, Johnny. Remember, when you see a guy putting his money to work for the first time in his company's stock, that means something to me. Yeah. That means he either knows something, and he has that. Just one director bought $227,000 worth of stock yesterday. Oh, sorry, today.
It's
still
a perfect
cheap,
here.
but there's a slight weekly buy divergence going on.
He was interested. He's probably still holding it. So,
right.
These tend to.
And like I said, I think that's a negative. That would be a negative sentiment. Be careful if he bought it. But I know a lot of people, and a lot of these guys like to trade the cheap ones in the room because you can buy a couple thousand shares in a company.
It's a nice base. I mean, basically,
it doesn't really look.
Base. You have a nice move
weekly
up.
doesn't really look that great.
It
could turn right back up here, but
power behind it when it trends down.
Not really a good one.
I think we're very close to trending up and breaking out of this base. So this pullback looks great for me. I like this.
We had another good one though today.
A few shares of this.
And we talked about it, and it was up.
I need to get 430, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to probably lose out on my options. But the stock, I'm not worried about. I think this thing's a 450 stock.
Yankee.
No problem. It's just the timing on these things.
And the final one, you got a double bottom to the negative day, February. Double bottom quickly, but the president / CEO bought $1 million worth of stock. It was up 2.5% in the first hour and a half today, and it has a slightly daily buy divergence on it.
And they've all moved up off of that.
And again,
Dominion still looks pretty good.
Energy sector, oil and gas, 7th. Big red candle there. Director buys $700,000 worth of stock. 3 weeks later, and Johnny, that's one thing too that I've noticed is you see me buy these things. When there's, and I don't know, when you hear about like Goldman putting out an oil forecast or something like that, and you start to see CHK, Aubrey McClendon used to buy it, and all of a sudden every other stock in the sector would be up because those guys know, hey man, if Chesapeake is buying their own stock, we should be buying our own stock in the same industry. And you see 6 or 7 names, and all of a sudden, those are the ones that go. Even better, the liquid enough. So, but the problem is, rising tide floats all boats, especially if it's in the same names, and they don't buy the sizzle, sell the steak. So those are five solid names that are up between 8 and 10% over 2 to 3 weeks. Uniform. That's got to mean something. India.
Definitely means definitely that was a good time to get
hotel. Charlie.
What stocks do you like seeing the insiders come in? Is there any other is there a certain sector you like, or just a certain stock you wait for insider buy-ins? Like if you knew
much like you, when you do your watch list, you see all of the yesterday multiple guys bought stock again. When I see multiple people buying it in the company, multiple directors, the best ones I've seen. I like that. Why? Because they're in the know. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of them that we're going to go over that are already in, that are starting to be in HC.
That's interesting because, considering my shyness of sometimes the...
February and March they've been buying it.
Having that extra insider buy-in might...
Well, that's one thing I was going to say. If you have a stock that you really want to buy... and it gaps down, that's an excuse to buy it. Yeah. If you have a divergence and a gap down, you'd want to buy it. But if you have an insider purchase, a gap down, and a divergence, again, it's under $40, which is usually your threshold, but still, the odds in your favor. Yeah. Buy some shares. And when I'm shorting something that violates a Keltner channel on a gap up, that's a divergence.
Yeah.
You want to be the house. Stack the odds in your favor. I guess he doesn't want to follow insider purchases by themselves are very powerful. But if you have other things that are leaning, that are... All right, let's move quickly. Next one. You have other aspects, other nuances. Boy, Charlie, Oscar. That Brinks company. Of that.
I don't care if you buy 100 shares just to see that it works. And not all of them work, but most of them do. And what you and what's crazy is when you punch it up, the other one.
Yeah.
Look at where it is.
Preaching.
I don't the president slash CEO bought over $600,000 worth of stock, and it's just off of all-time highs. And that's what Kramer says. That's where he puts credence when it's at all-time highs and guys are buying it. And also, if you look, there's a 15-minute buy divergence setting up. Insider purchases might be for you.
Yeah. I think you're on. You're definitely onto another, another positive indicator to add to, a tight formula. So it's a great.
And I would say, and just to reiterate, and we talked about this last time. The big question is, would tracking insider purchases fit into your trading plan? I don't know. Do you like to trade longer swings? Do you consider yourself to be less of a technical trader or a chartist? Do you work another job outside of trading and you just don't have time to sit and only the ones that are expected to go higher? You like to build positions into weakness and hate to use wink losses? Well, insiders might be for you. If you answered yes to any of those questions, when you're thinking about it, think of Steve Wynn.
Sign me up.
And think about them or trading them in sim. Mel Karmazin. And think about Eddie Lampert and Berkowitz from Sears Holdings.
For me as a,
when you see these guys loading into positions, I mean, come on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sean's saying it's kind of a thin trader as well.
That was great. Are you tired of staying up all night with screaming kids? Are you part-time and you just want to make 10% on your money? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, you want to have a.
Johnny, they're not like us. They're not going to flip the stock in 1 or 2 days or 2 weeks. They're going to hold it for a couple of earnings quarters. Johnny, did you see Sean's comment?
No, hold on.
Hair in a can. Yes, it's for you.
Seller, yeah, hair in a can. Oh, that was good.
Man, you guys make my day. All right, so let's go over some recent ones, a couple of them that I did purchase.
All right.
And I'm proud to say I made money on them already.
All right. Go ahead. We're ready for you. It's going to switch over.
All right. Pull it up. We mentioned this one today. I didn't buy it, but we mentioned it today. Encana. Hey, Bill Judd, thanks for joining us. Eddie Charlie Apple. All right, next one.
Eddie Charlie.
Next one is stay, as in, won't you stay?
Love it. Love the chart. Love the divergence. Love everything about it. It looks really nice. And you say it's insider buying, so. Yeah.
Right. So look, it's an energy stock, which is. I actually thought about staying there while I was waiting for this shakeout. / CEO and the director bought $290,000 worth of stock. No, it's like, for example, if you're going to be doing business in another city and you're working on a project and you're only going to be there for like
this is really
weeks or a month. You might stay at one of these places as opposed to going to an Airbnb or staying with somebody else or staying in a regular hotel.
Let me compare this one.
Like extended stay, I think they have like a kitchenette or like an efficiency where you can cook and stuff. So it's just alternative logic. Basically,
if we look
without
this
a commitment,
gas. What's
stay
like the peers
on the
of this?
10th
This is not
of
like
March.
Exxon, but it's
a director bought $250,000
underneath
worth
the
of
200
stock.
period moving average. The Chevron CVX, that's above the 200. Is it more like a Chevron? Is it more of a AP Apache or?
Is that the 10th?
Here's a Apache underneath the 200.
All right, so you think that thing probably might push the new high?
Again,
so you got a couple bucks in that probably.
The Hess.
I didn't buy that one, but the next one I did buy today.
Mobile, but I am liking the
Oxy
OXY, which is way under the 200.
That's on our list too. We'll go over that one.
All right, well, we'll go back to the economy. I like it a lot because I think it's actually one of the strongest.
The reason I bought this one today was the size of the purchase plus with the Fed. Look at Queen Sam Robert.
Versus its peers, that this is actually showing good strength. And, if you're going to get a bounce, this looks perfect for it.
Yeah, this is the one I said when
Plus
you mentioned
divergence, a nice
so this one came out a couple of days ago.
Qualify as
now draw a trend line from the bottom there, along that bottom
volume, downward wedge pattern channel, ready to move back up. So what's the details on this purchase?
That's where I do it. The president / CEO and the director, so two guys, bought $290,000 worth of stock between the 9th and the 15th of March. So that little last dip that we had.
And that's the double bottom we talked about today, right? The double bottom divergence right here.
So, Johnny, look at the 5-minute in that. And I'm telling you to look at the 5-minute because right at 2 o'clock when the Fed came out, I bought it. A director bought $7.5 million worth of stock. Just trying to make their commissions and paid $54.29. So I basically paid the same amount he did a couple of days later.
Yeah.
And I made $700 in a few minutes of that guidance.
Yeah.
Shit, John, I may just go be a retail broker.
It says here, Larry here, Larry in the room here. Take a look here. You're killing me. Alpha, Beta.
So he paid $54.29. I think my cost was $54.24.
Because it sounds all right to me.
Yeah, phonetic. I'm giving it wrong. And it's only because I saw that purchase right
that's the way
before the Fed came out.
Just give me some.
I saw that trend line. I liked it.
Don't give me Quebec.
FTM Robert Paul Matthews. Yeah.
What would it be if we wanted to do it?
Next one. This is an older stock that's had its share of ups and downs. Ticker is Indian Robert David Mary. All right, next one. I don't know if you remember this stock, but my uncle told me about this years ago.
Eddie Rob.
Iridium was the first satellite phone that you could basically use anywhere in the world. And the company almost went under. It went down to $8. They filed for bankruptcy. It came out of bankruptcy, so this is up to 10, and it just kind of languished down here. I think we could use a pollution control stock in my house. But ERR. I mean, I thought it was the greatest. My uncle who works in telecoms like, wow, you gotta buy this stock. I bought it. I took a bath on it. Now it comes out of bankruptcy. I'm like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Yeah, I don't know. What's it? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Clear as day right there. Let me write this down so we could go back tomorrow and show these as they move higher. So ERI, what was the one before this?
Encana. You did it.
ECA. All right, those two I want to just keep.
Look at that buy divergence at the end right there. There, you circled it.
So
right
again,
at the end of 2015. October, November, December. Look at that. Buy divergence.
Soy sauce went down the wrong throat here.
You know what I'll do? I'll post a screenshot of what I have rather than email it to everybody. I'll post some screenshots. And you guys, that's a lazy man stock. You know, open the links and when it gets overbought, sell it. When it gets oversold, buy it.
We have a reversal candle. Nice reversal candle. Follow through day with some volume starting to build up. And
nice
the divergence.
Hammer, right?
Yeah, a beautiful hammer. A divergence that looks really good.
So back up. A director bought $250,000 worth of stock. Two guys bought it earlier last week as well.
It's
and now you see the thing starting to turn.
Anything else? I mean, when you have that pullback and oversold level and the divergence, you have to go with that. It doesn't matter how far you're going to get. You're going to get a move to the upside. Maybe it's not a tremendous change.
But that stock goes from 8 to 9. That's a 12% profit.
I think the next couple of
days in a couple of days. You're going to tell me you're going to make 12% in any other name? The cheapie?
Did you go over the details on that one?
I did.
All right.
It wasn't a huge purchase, but you got so in a week.
Oh, you did.
Right.
When
you see multiple guys buying, but like I said, a lot of times in these cheap stocks, John, you see a 10% pop. Sometimes overnight, sometimes same day. The big guys buy stock, all of a sudden they whisper to their secretary, and so that one's on my radar as well, cheapie. Next one we've talked about it ad nauseum the past couple of days because I was fortunate enough to purchase it, and that's ConMed. Totally. Charlie, Nancy, Mary, David. But you know what? We're on the right side of the manipulation.
Yeah.
And if you remember, my reason for buying it was not only the president and CEO buying over $300,000 worth of stock, there was also an hourly buy divergence, if you can show that correctly. Alpha, Charlie, Tango, Golf.
Oh, yeah. Acadia Research. Acacia or Acadia?
Right. Show the hourly, though. Bam. Double bottom.
All right.
Minus that wick. That's a double bottom with an hourly buy divergence in this thing. Listen, man, I took it off the table plus $800 yesterday. I got stopped out for a few pennies and it ran another $1. There's a slight weekly buy divergence going on if you look at the weekly. I bought it when we first came out, right, at 40.80. Sold it at,
but it's cheap. So
41.60.
Be careful.
And now it's
But
off
I know
the
a lot
races.
of people like, and a lot of these guys like to trade the cheap ones in the room.
Jeez, it was up again
Buy
today.
a couple thousand shares.
Such a piker.
It doesn't really look. Weekly doesn't really look that great.
No.
I mean, it could turn right back up here, but
Yeah, we'll see. To watch the day, we'll
not
just
really a good one.
let's just watch the insider. Like I wrote it down. I think we'll watch it for the next couple of days and see if we get some follow through on this, and see how it acts.
Right.
And
We had another good one though today, and we talked about it, and it was.
I told you I also have a soft spot for comment because I used to be a market maker
fine.
at
One of my
Solomon
favorites.
years ago.
Yep.
Really thin
big
trader.
day today in it. Big pop.
Kind of like myself.
X-ray.
Yellow. Yeah, yellow. Orange.
All right, so you got a double.
No, it was the
a slight double bottom quickly.
they were
Yeah.
from
President/CEO
shit. Hold on.
bought $1 million worth of stock.
Oh, JP
It
Morgan.
was up 2.5%.
Maybe you heard of it.
And it
JP
had
Morgan.
daily buy divergence on it.
I work for a little firm called JP Morgan. Maybe you've heard of us.
And
You know,
again,
all these stocks,
energy sector, oil
Tools.
and gas.
all these oil and gas stocks are in the same position. They're in the lower portion of their channels. A lot of them are showing divergences.
And Johnny, that's one thing too that I've noticed is, when there's, I don't know, when you hear about like Goldman putting out an oil forecast or something like that, and you start to see CHK, Aubrey McClendon used to buy it, and then all of a sudden every other stock in the sector would be up because those guys know, hey man, if Chesapeake is buying their own stock,
Oh, he's
we
looking
should
at
be
a
buying
weekly
our own
though, Johnny.
stock in the same industry.
Yeah.
And you see 6 or 7 names, and all of a sudden, those are the ones that go. So, rising tide floats all boats, especially if it's in the same sector. Buy the sizzle, sell the steak.
Hey, that's a nice chart.
That's a new one.
All right, next one.
All right.
Uniform.
Yeah, look at the other
India.
weekly divergences that set up earlier that didn't really materialize.
Hotel.
This one's starting to break out. I see that, but
United Insurance Holdings.
caution.
Right.
48 cents for a reason.
Yeah. They'd be geniuses that they bought it in November. See if they bought it in November, too. Because if they recently bought it and bought it in November even lower and they're adding to it at an even higher
But
price.
yesterday, multiple guys bought stock. Again, when I see multiple people buying it in the company, multiple directors, I like that.
Did anybody
Because
buy
they're
back in
the
November?
know.
Anybody buy back in November, though?
Let's see.
That would give me confidence if they bought.
UIHC.
Because that got the big smackdown.
Oh,
and
man,
it's
we got
been
so many
climbing
more.
ever since.
No, February and March they've been buying it.
No,
February,
no.
March. So what's
Paul
near the
Queen,
highs of this
PQ.
recent run off the lows?
Yeah, exactly. Girly man.
Still got some room though, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a longer base, of course. I like that we were starting to push up against the moving.
Again,
opposite
oil and gas,
stochastics
Johnny.
here, maybe turning this over.
I know it's a
Again, it's
cheapie,
under $40, which is
but a
usually
director
your
bought
threshold.
$163,000 worth
Buy
of
some
stock, but it's a
shares.
new position,
Good night, Larry.
and it's in his IRA, and it's got a slight daily buy divergence. I guess he doesn't want to follow the insiders.
Well, you're getting late. Some people are living in
Show the
Europe.
daily.
Yeah. All right, let's move quickly. Next one. Yesterday, Boy Charlie Oscar. That's Brinks Company.
Boyd, Charlie, Oscar. Brinks. Ooh, the good old Brinks. Wow. Insider buying on this?
Yes, and what's crazy is when you punch it up,
The stochastics are flat. I wish it was steeper on the stochastics, but that flush in price was steep. So
$600,000 worth of stock, and it's just off of all-time high.
he bought
Yeah.
$163,000 worth of stock, but it's a new position. He's never bought stock before now.
Yeah.
There's also, if you look, there's a 15-minute buy divergence setting up.
I mean, if it drops to $2, which is the
there
all-time
is.
low, he'll
15
probably
minute.
buy more, I'm sure. But just something
yeah,
to
I mean,
watch.
definitely. He wouldn't buy it up here.
Next one.
Especially
Charlie
with the gap
Frank
underneath us,
India.
big pop. I mean, it was willing to give back 10, to buy it on the highs. No, right? I mean, it would be interesting to go back and back test everybody who bought the highs, quality names, definitely have a criteria for the stocks you're following. Brinks would fall into that. It's definitely a quality name. But how many CEOs buy the
manufacturing
top?
stock?
I don't know.
Director bought $150,000 worth of stock, but it's a 50% plus increase to his holdings.
I like it.
And there's also a slight hourly buy divergence.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Granted, 150,000 isn't a lot, but again, it's a director, and he increased his position by over 50%. I think he bought 5 and he owns 9 now. When you see these guys loading into positions, I mean, come on. Yeah, Sean's saying it's kind of a thin trader.
You know what? I have to disagree with that, though. I think that it's over 100,000 shares, so 500,000 shares, a pretty decent company, and you see the direction of the trade. It's definitely an upside directional trade.
Johnny, they're not like us. They're not going to flip the stock in 1 or 2 days or 2 weeks. They're going to hold it for a couple of earnings.
And it's not that thin where it has pockets of real. It acts fine.
Yeah, but the problem is though sometimes the power of the insider, you might not get that flush down that you're looking for, and then you miss it.
It's not giving us any real big gaps. In between the price. If it was real thin and had the spread pretty thick, and it was just capturing the little shares here and there, I'd say that. But I think this connects the dots. I mean, the trends work good, indicators work good on this, on the hourly, on the daily. And if anything, light volume could work in your favor just as much as it could work against you.
Hey, Viljar, thanks for joining us. All right, next one.
Hey, Viljar.
Here's the next one is stay. Next one's a good one. This is one I really like.
Oh, won't you stay? That's a better way of even saying it. Let's make it into a sentence. Extended stay America. Lodging.
Yep.
I never heard of this.
I actually thought about it. Yes, 1968. Good call. Here to shake out.
I have never heard of this one. What do they own a chain of hotels?
Below a trend line, right? No, it's like, for example, if you're going to be doing business in another city and you're working on a project and you're only going to be there for like a few weeks or a month, you might stay at one of these places as opposed to going to an Airbnb or staying with somebody else or staying in a hotel. Like extended stay, I think they have like a kitchenette or like an efficiency. John, you're gonna love this next one. It's just, I pointed it out today too. So back on March 9th, a few days ago, stay on the 10th of March. Charlie, Robert, Zebra, Oscar. $50,000 worth of stock.
10th of March here, which is
that
reversal
day.
Director
bought $700,000 worth of stock, and you had a double bottom and a daily buy divergence, and look what it did. That's the 10th?
Yeah.
All right, so you think that thing probably might push to new highs, so you got a couple bucks in that probably. I didn't buy that one, but the next one I did. It's not real pronounced, but you can see it's clearly between those 2 wicks. You see the angle of the stochastics above it on that double bottom? Beautiful. That's the reason I bought this one was the size of the purchase. At least up to that 2. Is that the 200, that green one? And is that the 20?
Restaurant brands,
yeah. 20. Definitely into the 20, I'd say. Yeah, this is the one I said. So that's at least what?
What I like about
this came out a couple of days ago. Now draw a trend line from the bottom there, along that bottom there. I mean, we might have missed part of the move, but again, the double bottom, oil and gas.
All the way out. What I like about this right away is
that's where I do it.
What I love is that the stochastics have rotated back down, and we have already started to hold that 20-period moving average. That's a key right there. Just like back here, when you get a fast rotation back to the 20, around that 20-period moving average, 9 times out of 10 it's moving higher off of that.
So, Johnny, look at the 5-minute in that, and I'm telling you to look at the 5-minute because right at 2 o'clock when the Fed came out, I bought it.
Yeah, I remember that.
A director bought $7.5 million on the trend line. And paid $54.29. So I basically paid the same amount he did a couple of days later.
Yeah.
Oxy. I made $700 in a few minutes.
Nice. I love the daily chart on this too.
Yep.
So he paid $54.29. I think my cost was $54.24 earlier. And it's only because I saw that purchase right before the Fed came out. I saw that trend line. I liked it.
It's a big parallel channel, too. I mean, it's an exact parallel channel. Right in the middle of that
Next one. This is an older stock that's had its share of ups and downs. Ticker is
I'm going to send you the list.
David Mary.
I'll actually post it in the room, a screenshot of the 3 pages I have of insiders, and you guys
can
remember
this stock, but
follow along with us. Next one is another oil and gas pipeline stock.
Iridium was the first satellite phone that you could basically use anywhere in the world.
Yep.
That was Carrizo.
Almost went under. It went down to $8. They filed for bankruptcy. It came out of bankruptcy.
There was a small HP as well. I didn't.
It came out of bankruptcy.
I did actually. I don't know if Sean and I picked that one up a couple nights ago.
Sideways.
Because Sean and I, we were talking about. I wanted to do the Keltner examples, and a lot of them were in the oil and gas space. There's still some beautiful, and I still have them saved so we can go over those next week. But
shame on me.
Same thing, oil and gas.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well,
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Time to bounce.
Say you bought this every time it got oversold, other than back here in 2015 where you probably might have gotten a little hit.
It was only a small purchase, but even so, you got a great divergence, and you have that kicker of the insider.
Is very organized in this rotation back here.
And you love that stock.
Look at that buy divergence at the end, right there. There, you circled it. Right at the end.
Next one is another oil and gas pipeline. It's Paul Tom X-ray Paul.
Absolutely, right there. And then you have this just a regular rotation back here.
What I like about this is the size of the purchase.
What
once you
appears
see the
to be
chart.
another rotation back here. These are nice moves.
Lazy man stock.
That's on a weekly chart here.
Sell it when it gets over.
You're looking at the daily?
Yeah, on the weekly. On the weekly, this
right.
is. So you're talking, a whole year basically of trading. You get this
Director on the 10th bought $6.4 million worth of stock. Director now.
Yeah,
Director bought $250,000 worth of stock. 2 guys
6.4
here last week as well, and now you see the thing starting to turn.
I'm not going to say it's not a big move. I mean, it's a 50% move over a year. That's great.
I'll tell you.
Take that, coming back. It's just.
It pays a 7.33% dividend.
That's a 12% profit.
Yeah.
That's good.
Over in a couple of days.
Yeah, and this
is.
You're
going to tell me you're going to make 12% in any other name? But a cheapie?
But this is a weekly, so I think it's going to be harder to get
the fact is, a limited partnership is a good thing, Johnny, because it's paying the dividends. These guys are getting paid out.
A lot of times
they got an actual stake in the company. So
sometimes overnight, sometimes same day.
Next one on the 13th of March.
On my radar.
Charlie Victor
we've talked
George
about
William
in the past couple of days because I was fortunate enough to purchase it, and that's ConMed. Charlie, Nancy.
Now, this is a good one because I've seen insiders in this stock for years, and every time these guys buy it, the thing goes higher.
Not only the.
This used to be a very cheap stock. If I'm not mistaken, it was only like a couple dollars for a long time, and then all of a sudden,
if you can show that.
I think if you go back to like a weekly or monthly chart, you'll see this thing is just
everything perfect.
Exploded.
We were talking about this yesterday, the day before. It's like they were just, it's almost like they were watching the show and saying, "Hey, this is a perfect place to buy it." But we got
show the hourly though.
The hourly. That's
double bottom. Minus that.
So the chairman of the board / CEO, he bought $4.3 million worth of stock.
Listen, man, I took it off the table
on the 13th.
$800 yesterday. I got stopped out for a few pennies, and it ran another $1.
Yeah.
So I bought it when we first came out, right at $40.80. Sold it at $41.60. And now it's off to the races.
I love the amount of the purchase. I mean, granted, he's the CEO / chairman, but
People's Bank of China raises rates. OMO.
Is the CEO of Day Trading Radio going out and buying $4.3 million of its stock?
Let's see what happens. That's a nice, beautiful bounce. 81 to 85. This is not a bad bounce on the futures here. Started earlier tonight.
I told you I also have a soft spot for ConMed because I used to be a market maker and at Solomon years ago. Really thin trader, though. Kind of like myself.
Hey, was the in the movie Boiler Room? Was it the Solomon guys that got into a fight
Yeah,
with outside
I'm
the
just
bar?
talking. I'm not really drinking. I'm trying to get all these in. It was the next one, and this goes out to Switcher because he pointed this out, and then I saw it afterwards.
Was it JP Morgan?
CHK. Maybe you've heard of us. On the 8th of March, directed by $2.3 million worth of stock. JP Morgan, maybe you've heard of us.
Let's take a look at the RNN Weekly coming in in the room here, Viljar. He wanted to do this was a penny stock, I believe, and there was a divergence in it.
You know, like I said, anytime Aubrey McLennan, when he was a CEO, used to buy this stock, it was a home run, man. My friend and I, when we traded insiders, we'd salivate anytime he came out because he'd buy millions of dollars worth of stock, and it was like a guaranteed payday. Now he's no longer around. He's been ousted, but somebody else is in there, and the director bought some stock at probably near-term lows, and I don't see this thing going higher.
Oh, I'm looking at the hourly, actually.
What sector is it in?
He's looking at the weekly. Let's take a look at the weekly. I had to turn that off. All right, yeah.
So much like when you run your watch list and you show all of the sector stocks moving at the same time, it's no different. And now you have the power of the insider behind it. If you get a divergence, it's a nice chart. Buy it.
It's dangerous because you get those pops and then it just kind of sells off. So you have to be in and out.
Yeah, look at the other though. Look at the other weekly divergences that set up earlier that didn't really materialize.
Actually, Switcher sent me an email over the weekend asking me to look at it. I didn't realize it until
sold into.
Tuesday,
for a reason.
And sure enough, it's popped since then.
You know what? I was just going to say that. I said, always look at the stock price. It tells you a big story about it.
Next one.
People think this the cure for cancer won't be traded on
Frank
48
Robert
cents.
George
for whatever
Indian.
reason it is. You know? If this thing had any value to it whatsoever, believe me, this market's going to figure that out fast, and people are going to be buying it, and it's not going to be a secret for too long. It's 48 cents for a reason.
That was my other.
Pops,
So you got that huge gap down.
Be sold into.
The director buys stock 6 days after that big gap down, and look at it go.
Okay.
Oh man, we got so many more.
John, there's also when you see a big gap down like that, there's a strategy called sunrise demise. QQ. And when you get a big gap down like that, that first candle on the gap down, once it breaks that, guys buy it on a technical basis and wait for it to fill that gap.
Quest. I like that name.
I've seen it a million times in a million different stocks.
Again, oil and gas, Johnny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a weekly divergence in it as well.
But a director bought $163,000 worth.
So once it cracks 21.51,
and it's in his IRA.
Guys are going to be buying that to fill that gap back up to where it cracked from.
Wow, look at this thing. I mean, it's basically right near the lows. That is a tough call. It does.
The daily.
I do see this. That's the weekly. Yeah. Yeah, the daily looks better. He had this gap up back here. I wonder what that was
Fall from grace.
September. It's always interesting to see a cheap stock get a gap up and continue up off of that gap. Never really coming down.
Yeah, and you got to making new highs there on price, but the stochastics were slowly just making new lower highs.
Yeah. And how many shares did he buy?
He bought $163,000.
All right, next one.
It's a new position.
David Robert.
Before now.
Yeah.
2 directors buying stock.
I mean, if it drops to $2, which is the all-time low, he'll probably buy more, I'm sure. But just something.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of REITs, Johnny, only because we've talked about this before. I think the fund managers are the ones that are buying them, not necessarily officers in the company.
Charlie Frank.
But I mean, you know, it's pretty beaten up. Look at that bullish engulfing candle at the bottom here.
The culprit.
But that was on the 9th of March. So you had a little bit of pullback. Guys are dumping what they own. But again, you love the REIT, so I figured I'd throw that one in there.
$150,000 worth of stock, but it's a 50% plus increase to his holdings. And there's also a slight hourly buy divergence. Granted, $150,000, but again, it's a director, and he increased his position by over 50%. I think
nice.
He bought 5 and he owns 9 now.
I mean, it could embed and go lower, but I like it.
Well, that
2 guys buying stock.
You know what's interesting? We actually got down here. you'd wonder.
Next one that we talked about this today, it's a retailer.
And the stock move up off.
Target.
I mean, well, I just want to know how often do you get, what are the
So
statistics?
between March 1st and March 9th, 3 officers bought stock. Got a Slate daily and a possible Slate weekly buy divergence. Stock's beaten down. Lower trend line channel.
1, 2, 3 channel.
Bounce.
200 EMA breakdown.
Could go lower,
But again, then you would say, well, why didn't the guy know this?
Yeah, but the
Will it
problem
take
is
stock, maybe?
sometimes the power of the insider, you might not get that flush down that you're looking for, and then you miss it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It looks like a good area here. It looks like a beautiful area down here, which is a typical.
Look at the weekly,
now,
though.
The insiders are involved. So is it worth?
And you've seen what the thing has done lately. Look at the
you
weekly.
could always say, hey, you start off here, it gets down to this level,
Right?
you cost average.
Come on, man.
Bring your average down to
That's worth a
29,
lottery
and
ticket.
I think you're good to go. But I think you're right. It doesn't trade.
All right.
It hasn't,
Here's another good one for you. This has all the good stuff.
So it's always bounced back up.
Nicker is Med. Mary Eddie David.
CFI. I don't want to write it down. CFI. Back in early February, there was a divergence here too. You see this? Someone mentioned in the room. Good call out there in the room.
Yes, 1968. Good call.
Nice divergence.
So
right there. With
a
two nice
director bought
candlesticks,
stock
big
on
rotation
3
back up
different
and pulled back.
occasions between March 10th and March
Yeah,
14th.
that was nice.
It's up
Again, like I
$3.50
said,
so far.
show
since
you.
then.
Show me a chart. I'll show you divergence. I'll show you that stock move after that divergence.
So, John, on a $40 stock, what's the $3.50 move? That's almost 10% in a few days.
Rules. First low
Can't
has to
make
be under
this
the
shit out
20.
of mean something.
No, you can't. It's a logical Spock trade. That's what I love about it.
John, you're going to love this next one.
All right, let's do it.
I pointed it out today, too. So back on March
Here's another
9th,
good one.
a few days ago.
Sam, Tom, King, Larry.
Charlie, Robert, Zebra, Oscar.
Stickle.
Oh, yeah, another oil and gas stock.
Yep.
So now I know what this is because of my business. They actually make
divergence, and look what it did.
They sell. You know how I
You notice we've
I
been
only
seeing
sell
that the term
organic
double
stuff.
bottom. These big candles have been playing out in this.
These guys
segment,
actually
in
make
this,
feed
sector.
for chickens.
We've been getting this.
It's not.
They make organic feed for chickens that has no pesticides, nothing in it, no non-GMO, which is the big buzzword.
Beautiful. That thing's pushing the 35.
It says packaged foods, but they actually package
probably
food
right.
for
I mean,
animals.
Is that the 200?
So they sell bags of
The red one
non-GMO
is, the green
vegetarian
one is
feed
the
for chickens.
20.
And I know it because the guys that I buy my meat from, they use it out in Montana where they have their livestock.
Yep. Well.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, I would say $2.
I mean, we might have missed part
Well,
of the move.
the president and
Well,
CEO
we've been seeing this.
and a 10% owner
was the other
also bought a
What was
total
the other
of,
one that gave us this tweezer type of bottom?
I forget how much it was, but the stock's up $1.50 since then, and it's only a $7 name, John.
I said, oh, you know what? It's kind of like
So
a
from
tweezer
6
bottom.
to 7,
What was the other one, Village? Or
or $6 to $7.50. That's a pretty good move.
there was
Was
something.
it the Encana?
I
do not confirm nor deny, but I know that the company that I buy my meat from uses this product.
These are really good
because everybody's
those
big
two
on
candles.
non-GMO.
There's even a more pronounced one.
Yep, tweezer.
Yeah.
On the trend line.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I didn't write it down, but
it wasn't X,
good call.
X. No, it wasn't this one. It was another one. I just can't remember what. No, it wasn't that. It was, I don't know. But it was definitely a lot of these double bottoms. This one's almost a little double bottom, too. The Apache.
Johnny, you don't want to buy an expensive stock. You're looking for cheapies. Well, what better would you buy than a cheap stock with a buy divergence and an
two big
insider?
divergences here. Nice move up.
I wish I knew about divergences when I was buying insider purchases exclusively.
Here we have a
because
little
I'd be
bounce.
retired by
We're
now.
trying to move back up. What if we move up, cross back down, get a divergence? Then you have really something to look at. But I think you're right. I think these are set up to go.
Sure, if you have limited funds,
remember the other one.
Buy the best ones, and the best ones are the technical setups with the insiders.
I'll actually post it in the room, a screenshot of the 3 pages I have of insiders, and you guys can follow along with us.
Right, so
next one is another oil and gas.
I didn't write that one down.
stock.
I didn't write it down. What was that? Was it HP? What was the one we just
No,
went over?
That was Carrizo.
Oh, Carrizo. All right.
I wish I was listening to you 15
There's
years
nice
ago
divergence, too.
when I was trading insiders exclusively, because this would have saved me a lot of aggravation.
I did actually. I don't know if Sean and I picked that one up a couple of nights ago.
This is a nice one.
Because Sean and I, we were talking about. I wanted to do the Keltner examples, and a lot of them were in the oil and gas space. There's still some beautiful, and I still have them saved, so we can go over those next week. But same thing, oil and gas.
Look at that divergence there. That's a pure divergence, too. That's a pure divergence.
Right.
That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one, Sam Mary.
Not a great divergence, and you have that kicker of the insider.
Yeah.
Gotta buy it. And you love
Another energy.
Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
Oil and
next
gas.
one is another oil and gas pipeline. It's Paul Tom X-Ray Paul.
SM, 6 directors bought stock in this one. 6.
What I like about this is the size of the purchase once you see the chart.
They were actually on March 8th, but let me see. It might have been...
You're looking at the daily?
I'm looking at the daily. Paul.
Right.
Let me see.
Pentex? Yeah.
Okay, so from March 8th to March 13th, 6 different guys bought stock.
Director now.
So it came in a little bit, but...
How many million?
Exactly.
Hey, Johnny, I just wanted to tell you guys good night. Great show. I really enjoyed
Does it
it.
give a dividend? What's going on with this thing?
I'll tell you. Hold on. It pays a 7.33%.
Sean's also
I'll catch you guys in the morning.
a lot of laughs, by the way. We talk often,
Nice,
and
it's stable.
he just
it's
makes me
hanging
roll.
tough here,
All right, Johnny, another old favorite of yours.
Right there.
The factors are in
Sam John Mary.
Thing, Johnny.
All right.
Because it's paying the dividend. These guys are getting paid out. They got an actual stake in the company. So, next one. On the 13th of March, Charlie, Victor, George,
Smuckers.
William.
You love that stuff.
Farm products.
Now, this is a good one because I've seen insiders in this stock for years, and every time these guys buy it, the thing goes higher. This used to be a very cheap stock. If I'm not mistaken, it was only like a couple dollars for a long time. And
So
then all of a
in
sudden,
this one, you got a director buying $400,000 worth of stock on March 7th.
All right. Oh, well, a second.
exploded.
Let me take a look at
I
this.
know it's coming a little bit, but, popped a little bit,
And
came
you know
back
what we're
in,
gonna do,
settling
just,
in, but,
just kind of help everyone out here.
I mean,
yeah, that's a beautiful channel. Look at that channel.
and look how quickly it rotated down.
So the chairman of the board / CEO, he bought $4.3
It really hasn't,
million
yeah, it really
worth
hasn't
of
come in
stock
that much.
on the 13th.
March 13th. So right up against the highs here.
Yeah.
It's already bounced off that lower trend line. I like it. Love the chart. I love the big picture here. Big picture's nice.
And you know how we love when stocks hold the 20.
I mean, granted, he's the
On pullback.
CEO / chairman.
It's right there.
Still, man.
Yeah.
Is the CEO of Day Trading Radio going out and buying $4.3 million of its stock?
Yeah. I want to be in it. It is a good one. Calvo Growers. Maybe they make, who knows what they do. CVGW.
Next one.
Yeah. Okay. Are you still drinking Gatorade?
Dude,
What are you drinking
some
now?
food company's going to buy them out.
Yeah, I'm just talking. I'm not really drinking. I'm trying to get all these in.
You don't think a Kraft will buy them out or somebody like that?
This goes out to Switcher because he pointed this out, and then I saw it afterwards.
Johnny, maybe this director knows something.
On the 8th of March,
He's putting $400K to work.
$4 million worth of stock.
All right, next one. George Tom Eddy.
Well, yeah. Already starting to bounce. Yep, starting to bounce.
Another energy
Now,
stock.
like I said, anytime Aubrey McClendon, when he was a CEO, used to buy this stock,
Oil and gas.
Come on, man. My friend and I, when we traded insiders, we'd salivate anytime he came out because he'd buy millions of dollars worth of stock, and it was like a guaranteed payday. Now he's no longer around. He's been ousted, but somebody else is in there, and the director bought some stock at probably little near-term lows, and I don't see this thing going higher. And again, what sector is it in?
Yep, oil and
Right.
gas.
And on March 13th, a director bought $370,000 worth of stock list, and you show all of the sector stocks moving at the same time. It's no different.
You know what? If you're going to take a lottery ticket, I'd buy a $2 name with an insider purchase and a divergence before I'll buy anything else.
California avocado grower. That's interesting. The other one, that CVGN, CHK here.
Yeah, actually, Switcher sent me an email over the weekend asking me to look at it.
That's
I
a
didn't
home run.
realize it until Tuesday. And sure enough, it's popped since then. All right, next one. Frank Robert George Indian.
Friggin' Fiesta restaurant. Talking about avocados.
So you got that huge gap down.
Yeah.
The director buys stock 6 days after that big gap down, and look at it go. John, there's also, when you see a big gap down like that,
and again, with a commodity play like oil, when one of them moves, they're all going to move.
That first candle,
You don't even have to have insiders. If you just went down a list of all of the ones in this space, even if there's not an insider,
to fill that gap.
you want to be looking for these
I've seen it
setups.
a million times.
And if you
in a
do
million
get an
different
insider
spots.
in it, that's all the more power to you.
Sean's saying there's a weekly divergence in it as well.
Powerful stuff, man.
fast. Yep. So once it cracks 21.51,
Yeah, that's the one I thought you were pointing
I'm
out.
going to be buying that to fill that gap back up to where it cracked from.
$2, two big candles that jump out at you, right?
Yeah, this thing did start off pretty low, went pretty high. Man, that thing
Man, I wish I knew this shit 15
started
years
off
ago.
here at $11, went all the way up to
Johnny, I wish I knew
$70
about
and then
divergences
back
back
down to
during the dot-com era when I was a market maker.
Fall from grace.
And things were moving
and this could
100
be
points a day.
capitulation kind of selling. You like the gap downs lots of times, especially at the end of a big pullback.
Amazon, $90 stock with a $700 price target on it, thanks to, what was that douchebag name? Henry Blodgett.
Lower highs
Yeah.
at that time.
Henry Blodgett, first one to put a $750 price tag on Amazon, and everybody laughed at him. Well, guess what? 12 years later, 20 years later, and it is at $700. So,
Real estate REIT,
right,
huh?
next one. SPAR, as in sparring partner.
Johnny, only because we've talked about this before. I think the fund managers are the ones that are buying them,
Yeah.
not necessarily officers in the company. But, I mean, it's pretty beaten up. Look at that.
So you got between the 8th and 9th, 3 officers bought stock. The president / CEO, another president of a division, and the CFO. Remember, I like the
You
CFO.
have the REIT, so I figured I'd throw that one in there.
CFO is putting his money to work in a
Look at that big
$7
weekly chart
name.
here.
This
Very
thing isn't
interesting.
going to
Slow
zero.
grind off at 2009 lows, and this.
No way.
Uh,
I don't think he bought a lot. I can double check
how much he specifically bought.
coiled on this one.
Hold on, SPAR.
Yeah, you know what?
See it?
Kind of a little
That's
coil.
nice. I mean, it could embed and go lower, but I like it.
CFO bought.
Two guys buying stock.
All right, he only bought $19,000 worth of stock,
Next
but
one
the
we
president and
talked about
CEO
today
bought
is
$350,000 himself.
Target.
CGT.
$350,000 worth.
So between March 1st and March 9th, 3 officers bought stock.
Yep.
Got a slight daily
Thanks for that,
and a
Canadian
possible
trader.
slight weekly buy divergence. Stocks beaten down.
Yeah.
Lower
So,
trend
like I
line
said,
channel,
CFO, I like it.
bounce.
It's a cheapie. You like the cheap stocks.
I could go lower, but I agree with the bounce here. I think we're on the lower trend line. We had a test.
It was the
Took out the
president
lows
/
here.
CEO, the president of one of their
60-minute
divisions,
time
and the
frame here
CFO all
is
bought stock. 3
starting
officers
to
buying
rotate
stock
back
in this
up.
one.
For some reason, I like it down here.
No. The CFO in SPAR is buying stock. And you've seen what the thing has done lately. Look at the weekly. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Oh, jeez. That's worth a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another good one for you. Volatility weighted index, ETF, all the good stuff. Ticker is MED. Mary Eddie David.
Mary Eddie David. Medifast. All right, nice pullback.
But sometimes that's how you find the best stocks, Johnny.
The gap down was bought right away. It popped right back up. You take it that the insider came in and bought it on the gap down.
Next one, Boy William. A director bought stock on 3 different occasions between March 10th and March 14th.
Yeah.
It's up $3.50 so far since then.
He's been buying it every day so far.
Yep. So, John, on a $40 stock, what's the $3.50 move? That's almost 10% in a few days. Now, you know I like this sunrise demise. If it cracks $11 to the upside, it's going to fill that gap. But you have an insider down here. You got the chairman/CEO just bought $192,000 worth of stock a few days ago on the 9th. Here's another good one. Sam, Tom, King, Larry.
Larry King.
Stickle.
Sonopa.
Well, you like the 3 to 5 day pullbacks, right? But once you crack that on a technical basis, that thing's going to go, I bet you. It might pause at 11.5 and let shake out some of the longs, but that's going to come up on people's radar because of that big gap down from $17 to 9.
Okay.
They make organic feed for chickens that has no pesticides, nothing. Electronic components, non-GMO.
Yeah.
Which is the big buzzword. Look at that ugly. It must have been earnings, John. But they actually package food for animals. So they sell bags of non-GMO vegetarian feed for chickens. The chairman/CEO bought $192,000 worth of stock. They use it out in Montana. Let me see what kind of position that was for livestock. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I mean, that's not really doing much, but...
Well, the president and CEO and a 10% owner also. All right, so he bought 20,000 shares and owns 240. How much probably not a significant purchase, but the fact that it's a chairman and CEO, and it's kind of a double bottom, looks like it's holding. Or $6 to $7.50. That's a pretty good move.
Does Pete's Meats endorse this stock?
That's what Viljar is saying. I didn't look at the market. I do not confirm nor deny, but I know that the company that I buy my meat from uses this product.
All right.
Bilger, no reason to yell. Everybody's big on non-GMO.
And the divergence. That's not, you probably...
Sean's saying class action suit against them.
But yeah, I remember seeing it.
Stay away from that. I don't give you the blessing on that one.
Pop back up, or just on that gap down. That's the key. When you gap down, you turn back up.
You're going to like this one.
Dynegy. And you get a nice DYN. Either way. The guy, again, all these insiders buying up here, you got to have a good feeling for this one breaking up through 7.
Like the utilities. Johnny, you don't want to buy an expensive stock. You're looking for cheapies. Well, what better would you buy than a cheap stock with a buy divergence? But it's a utility. Let me see what it pays.
Yeah.
I wish I knew about divergences when I was buying insider purchases exclusively.
Yeah.
Because I'd be retired by now.
And it just, you know what? It narrows your...
Oh, shit, it doesn't even
narrow
pay
your watch list down if you want to just take those setups. And you just increase your odds so much more, I think.
Sure. If you have limited funds, buy the best ones. And the best ones are the technical setups with the insider.
Yeah. It's simple. And it's so cool to just kind of hear someone else say the same thing because it's just... It's the obvious trade. It's the obvious, simple solution. Why make things complicated? Why reinvent the wheel? There's so many ways of doing it. Analogies, and but this is it.
I wish I was listening to you 15 years ago when I was trading insiders exclusively.
Well,
this would have saved me a lot of aggravation.
Not bad on
what's great now going forward is just like the excitement knowing, all right,
maybe
didn't catch this one exactly, but there's always going to be another one right down the road. And that's hopefully this segment, once a week if we could do it.
I only have 1, 2, 3,
as we
4
get
more
close
names.
At the end of this watch list, just remember, what I like to do is give you the best bet. I want to get your best bets when we talk about these options, after the watch list. Give me your top 3 if you have them.
Dude, you know?
After.
Right.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean?
Sam Mary, SM.
S&M.
So you got a director bought $170,000 worth
another
of
one.
stock.
Beat down.
Another energy.
Here we have a coil stochastic, a reversal candle, insider
Oil and
buying.
gas. Not bad.
Wow.
It's all right. These are just some of the lower ones on my list here. Directors bought stock in this one. 6.
6 down here. All at the same time? Are they like in a lottery fund?
They were actually on March 8th, but let me see. It might have been SM. Let me see. Okay, so from March 8th to March 13th, 6 different guys bought stock.
All right, so it just
So
spread.
it came in a little bit, but
it
draw a
spread,
trend
spread
line
through
across
the
the
office
bottom.
like
Looks good.
wildfire. Someone bought it.
Exactly.
And then, and
I
this,
got
Johnny,
used
I
to the
just wanted
custodians are going to be
tell
buying
you guys
shit
good
by
night.
next
Great
week.
show. I really enjoyed it.
hey, thanks, Paul. Good night.
Yeah. So, next one, GTT, George Tom Trump. By the way, we talk often, and he just makes me roll. All right, Johnny, another old favorite of yours. Sam John Mary.
All right, hold on. Write
Now
this one
there's
down.
a
That's interesting. I mean, if these oil stocks move, it's going to move
there's
this
a young
market
lady
higher
that
too.
I've been
Oil's
talking
been moving
to,
with the market.
and she actually works for the
Market's been
company.
moving
This
with the oil, I
company,
should say.
the
What is
company
that last one? Sam
this
John
company
Mary?
just bought out.
Oh, this
Hibernian Network.
Smuckers, yeah. Look
So
at this divergence.
is on my radar, and
Look
sure
at this.
enough,
I
it
mean,
comes up
we
on
were
my
on
insider
top of
scan
this
today, and I'm
in
like,
these
this might be the
divergences back here.
opportunity.
This was your gap down divergence.
Slight double bottom daily buy
this is not
divergence if
after
you
the
see it
fact.
on those 2 candles. Quick.
I remember these. I remember trading
I
these.
think it pushes back up to 30 maybe. So at least up to the 20. You got a director buying $400,000 worth of stock on March 7th. I know it's come in a little bit, but popped a little bit, came back in, settling in. But we did a whole show on it.
No, it looks good. Gap down, it popped. The gap down, it popped
and
back
look how
up.
quickly it rotated down.
Yeah, it rotated fast, and it's really with the rotation, it's really going sideways.
Yeah, it really hasn't come in that much.
Yeah, it's that type of price divergence where we see that rotation. But the price
I like the FinViz because it's free,
powerful,
and I found it's not any less
want to see that directional trade.
slower to post these than the other sites that you would actually have to pay for.
Over and over in the same
I used to use a big one years ago, InsiderCal.com, but you pay $30 a month, and I found that they're actually later than FinViz.
But you have sideways consolidation, and it breaks higher. Here you start to feel that same setup happening. I love it. You have the divergence, you have reversals, you have divergence, price divergence, you have the gap down divergence, and now you have that, same situation, that price divergence, sideways consolidation, fast rotation, plus insider buying. Sweet.
And then, Johnny, if you really want to focus on the best ones, just click on that top insider trading for the recent week.
Too, down the road.
Some food company's going to buy them out. That's what I've been going off of all today, pulling all these out. And these are all, you got to remember, look how many of these occurred in the past
for $160, $170. I like it a lot for that.
And I'm telling you, when they come out and go. Sometimes it used to be when I was trading insiders, you get 5 or 6 a day, and you couldn't even keep track of them. Sometimes 10 in a day.
You did a lot of work here.
And that's why I used to have to take quick profits because I couldn't hold all of them. My account size just couldn't handle it.
Grand Tierra Energy Corp.
Yep. So GTT, 4 directors buying that stock. Next one is,
choppy.
You mentioned Petroflex already,
right? It looks like one of those sailboat pictures where you can try to figure out what the
the final one is Charlie Queen Henry.
The overall pattern seems to be down, but again, the oversold stochastic's giving us these violent moves back up. We're oversold now, plus the combination of insider buying and holding the recent lows.
And what's it in? Oil and gas, limited partnership.
This is nice.
And on March 13th, a director bought $370,000 worth of stock.
Kind of under the radar, too. It's not a stock that everyone's looking at.
It's a cheapie.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're going to take a lottery ticket, I'd buy a $2 name with an insider purchase and a divergence before I'll buy anything else.
Yeah. All these, these type of channel plays tend to break out if you hold a double bottom in them. If you get a double bottom oversold stochastic in the channel, even though it's not a divergence channel,
Look at the name though, Senior Energy. That's one of the other.
I just noticed this divergence right there.
What the hell is the old
we
Senior?
have to work together as a team.
Those
in the room, members. You know, even though we
With
do a
the
lot of
LNW,
research here, and we try to bring
natural gas was
everything to the table. Look how important these levels are. I mean, to see a divergence like this, the gap down and the reversal, all you have to do is hold it until it gets overbought and get out of dodge. You know, it could be.
Oh, he mentioned that today in the chat room.
And this is a $2 stock, so you're not seeing a big move here, but you're seeing relative move versus, you know, the setup is going to give you that move. I don't care if it's, you know, a lot or a little. The direction plays.
Charlie Queen Henry. And again, with a commodity play like oil, when one of them moves, they're all going to move.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have insiders. If you just went down a list of all of the ones in this space, even if there's not an insider, you want to be looking for these setups. And if you do get an insider in it, that's all the more power to you. Hey. Powerful institutions buy it to 50 and sell it to 50. Here. So,
and even though it,
that's the one I thought you were pointing out.
Yeah, yeah. It's great on a $2 stock, and then they have
small. Director bought $106,000 worth of stock. Not a big purchase, but if you like the chart, you have that going in your favor.
I mean, that's some of
I
these.
wish I knew this shit 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, what I liked about it too, Johnny, is the fact that it's a brand new position for him. This is the first time he's ever bought stock, and it was at $23.77 on the 10th. So he didn't buy it back in when it was 15, 16, 17. He's buying it at almost a high. What was that douchebag's name? Henry Blodgett. Henry Blodgett. First one to put a $750 price tag on Amazon, and everybody laughed at him.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Everything. Later,
yep.
Or sorry, 20 years later, and it is at $700. So, all right, next one.
Yep.
SPAR, as in sparring partner.
SPAR. Spartan Motors.
Bigly move.
Pretty nice pullback. It's been selling off, but now we've had a series of nice upward candles. I like it. 715.
So you got between the 8th and 9th, 3 officers bought stock. The president/CEO, bigly move. President of a division. So let me just do a quick tally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 30 different insiders in the past 2 weeks. Hold on. SPAR. I mean, there's a couple in here that I didn't even comment on, but you saw those first 5 that we mentioned from last month. All right. He only bought 19. 5 of them up between 8 and 10%. Minimum 8%, over 10% in 2 to 3 weeks. $150,000 worth. In quality names, Walgreens, Newell, Edward Life Sciences, Chipotle, and Dominion. Thanks for that, Canadian trader. Bigly moves. So, like I said, CFO, I like it. It's a cheapie. If you like the cheap stock.
What was that other one? CFO, you're saying?
You know what? I probably have to go through each one again, but I do like these bigger purchases. And the CFO all bought stock. 3 officers buying stock in this one. I like that QSR that I bought today.
I'm just
I bought $7.5 million worth of stock. SPAR is buying stock.
I know.
I like the Oxy. I like the oil and gas.
I just fell asleep on the mic. CFO, great chart. I'm going long. Where the hell does this one come from?
I still think that ConMed goes higher.
Look at this beautiful chart. CFO. Volatility weighted index, ETF. This is great. This thing's rocking, man. That's a strong stock. You come across these sometimes by mistake. He was like, "What the hell's this? I put in the wrong number. I put in the wrong letter." And you get up.
Sometimes that's how you find the best stuff. Yeah, so again, you see multiple guys buying it. Probably a good idea for you to buy it too. Next one. If you see them buying it over multiple days,
all right,
that's a good thing too.
Hold on, BW. Babcock and Wilcox.
Yeah.
2 cocks.
2 cocks. Better than one.
One.
All right.
Now, you know I like this sunrise demise. If it cracks $11 to the upside, it's going to fill that gap. But you have an insider down here. You got the chairman/CEO just bought $192,000 worth of stock a few days ago on the 9th.
If we broke that limit, we already moved up 25%. So if you even have an inkling,
there's just so much to cover, Johnny. 30-something names in
candlestick.
You know,
already got a
3 hours. We really didn't goof off.
That's nice.
Well, you like the 3 to 5 day pullbacks, right? You guys really got some. We looked at some quality names, some quality setups, and you just learned something very valuable. At 11.5, and stack the odds in your favor. You get a divergence, you get an insider. Because of that big gap down. Money in the bank. $17 to 9.
What the hell did they do that they got crushed here? It looks like it was an IPO last 2015. Never really got out of
electronic components.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, I'm going to actually post a couple screenshots.
Yeah,
I recommend you guys open these links and either save them, print them out, or just keep them open in the tab.
Do you think it's significant enough?
Just so you guys can follow along. And if we miss it tomorrow, say, hey, Rob, you mentioned this one in the discussion last night. I'd love for you to take a look at it. Tell me what you think.
There's a lawsuit. You might be looking up the news on this. That this was a lawsuit, but that was cut in half basically.
All right, so he bought 20,000 shares and owns 240. Probably not a big. It did. That's why you were gracious enough to let me talk about Keltner's strategies next week because there were so many, Johnny.
Weekly looks like,
and I didn't want to. I didn't want to leave anything out because I did see so many. And I mean, it's good food for thought.
Turtle sticking its head out there. There's not much going there in the monthly yet.
Still, Joe, no reason to yell. Yeah, Sean's saying class action suit against.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah, stay away from that. I don't give you the blessing on that one.
Yeah.
Next one. You're going to like this one. Dynegy. D-Y-N.
D-Y-N. I like this one.
All right, here, I'm putting another couple in there.
Utility company. I don't like it. It's at the lows.
I'm sorry, some of them came up on other pages, so you just kind of got to...
Oh, my God, this thing's getting
I didn't want
to
cut a couple of them off, but it's utility. There's some quality names in here. Obviously, you see the 5 big ones that we had last month that all worked out. Yes, they were quality names as opposed to some of these we don't know anything about. But oh, shit, it doesn't even pay a dividend. Yeah. Good stuff. This one.
Because I was looking back here when we got into NIB and we had this.
Actually, Sean's still there. I don't know if what he mentioned, actually. I didn't see the show and I didn't record it.
But again, I wouldn't put too much into that DYN here. Looks like, it's on a tight line there, tight wire.
Yeah.
That's the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily one more time. All right, daily. Not a bad candle. I mean, yeah, we could, get a bounce.
Cool.
I'm down with that.
Not bad on a weekly.
Yeah.
Daily too. I mean, might be setting up. It's kind of weak, kind of slight buy divergence.
I gotta wrap it up here soon, Rob. But
yeah, no, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 more names.
All right, that sounds good. All right, no problem.
Juno Therapeutics.
Juno?
Did you know?
Yeah. Do you know that Juno has some insider buying?
Do you know what I mean? So you got a director bought $170,000 worth of stock.
All right, that's nice.
Not bad. It's all right.
Yeah, it's bottomed out.
Some of the lower ones on my list here.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I mean, starting to move back up. When did he get in? Just curious.
The 10th.
All right, that's pretty good. All right, he's taking advantage. I was saying, all right, did he take advantage of the low? No, he didn't, but he took advantage, or maybe of the pullback and started moving back up, saying this is not going to give it up anymore. See where it goes. It's in the process of
draw a trend line across the bottom. Looks good.
It's in the process of closing that gap too. It's kind of getting back up into that gap zone. Second, third time getting up there, and then, like you said, there's a trend line underneath us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Next one, GTT, George Tom Tom.
Nice pullback to 200.
Now there's a
Global Telecom.
there's a young lady that I've been talking to, and she actually works for the company that this company just bought out, Hibernian Networks. So this is on my radar, and sure enough, it comes up on my insider scan today, and I'm like, this might be the opportunity.
Yeah. This is a nice
Light
pullback.
double bottom, daily buy divergence, if you see it, on those two candles quick. I think it pushes back up to 30, maybe. At least up to the 20.
We have a couple of questions in a row. I wanted to touch base on this earlier too, because we didn't really go through the process, and we did this a couple of weeks ago, so you could check on the videos.
We did a whole show on it.
Yeah, so we'll try to get those videos out to you, or give you some links, because we went through the basics of where do we get this information. And Mountain Bear is asking, even though we used FinViz, the finviz.com insider list, Mountain Bear wants to know any other sites that you recommend for insider screening.
I like the FinViz because it's free.
Yeah.
And I found it's not any less slower to post these than the other sites that you would actually have to pay for. I used to use a big one years ago, insidercow.com, but you pay $30 a month, and I found that they're actually later than FinViz.
So here's your FinViz. I'm bringing it up fast. You just have to go to Insiders here. There's an Insider tab right here on your front page of FinViz. Click on that. It comes up. You over on the upper right-hand corner, all transaction buy, if you're looking at buy, sell. And then it goes basically chronological order. But you could do your searches. You could,
And then, John, if you really want to focus on the best ones, just click on that top insider trading for the recent week.
Yeah, this tab right there. Click on that.
That's what I've been going off of all today, pulling all these out. And these are all, you got to remember, look how many of these occurred in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, when they come out in droves. Sometimes, it used to be when I was trading insiders, you get 5 or 6 a day, and you couldn't even keep track of them. Sometimes 10 in a day. And that's why I used to have to take quick profits, because I couldn't hold all of them. My account size just couldn't handle it.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Yep. So GTT, 4 directors buying that stock. Next one is, you mentioned PetroQuest already, right? We did that one. All right, the final one is Charlie Queen Henry.
Charlie Queen Henry. Cheniere Energy Partners. This is a good company. Nice.
And what's it in? Oil and gas.
Yeah.
Limited partnership.
What's nice about this is, it's actually in an uptrend. It hasn't been affected as much as the other stocks. It's trading well above the 200. Actually trading above the 50 and hanging right around the 20 with a rotation. So by far this one is best chart award for this. This is midstream, oil and gas midstream, and I'm not familiar with what that is. Is that a terminology meaning that it's not like endpoint, midstream, and beginning stream? Or
well, look at the name though, Cheniere Energy. That's one of the other. What the hell was the old Cheniere? I used to trade it all the time. I can't even remember. Was it LNW? Liquid natural gas was Cheniere? I think so. Hold on. LNW.
Did you bring up THO?
Okay.
THO earlier? I see Max looking at the THO, Thor Industries. I like the trend line.
He mentioned that today in the chat room.
Yeah, that does. I like that too. It looks good. Oversold. But the one we're just looking at right now has that similar situation, even actually stronger. What is it again? Oh, let me go back here. I got it right here.
Charlie Queen Henry.
This is actually holding we're holding the 50-period moving average. It doesn't look as aggressive. It's just a lot of up-down candles, chop, 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 slowly grinding, chop, 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 slowly grinding. Nice pullback here, but the rotation here is everything. It's a flag.
Hey.
It's actually one of my favorites.
Institutions buy it to 50 and sell it to 50. So
this is actually a nice chart. One of my favorites. Now, what's the deal with the insiders here?
Small. Director bought $106,000 worth of stock. Not a big purchase, but if you like the chart, you have that going in your favor.
CQH. God, we went over a lot.
And, what I liked about it too, Johnny, is the fact that it's a brand new position for him. This is the first time he's ever bought stock, and it was at $23.77 on the 10th.
Right.
So he didn't buy it back when it was 15, 16, 17. He's buying it at almost the high.
And may I point out to you two areas of this chart that give us the biggest moves? What are they defined by? Divergences. Look at that look at that divergence and look at that move, and even go back to here, double bottom divergence right here, and a nice little divergence there, and look at that big move. I mean, these are both identified tremendous zones here. That little pullback, bigly moves. Now we have just an oversold level, not a divergence, which could come down the road, but it looks like just a nice oversold. I like it a lot. I gotta circle that one too to pay attention to tomorrow. Tremendous watch list here.
Bigly move. 5, 6, 7, so let me just do a quick tally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm counting them too.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 30 different insiders in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, it's a lot. And that's just the ones that you're cherry picking, too.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple in here that I didn't even comment on, but you saw those first 5 that we mentioned from last month.
Yeah.
5 of them up between 8 and 10%. Minimum 8%, over 10% in 2 to 3 weeks. In quality names, Walgreens, Newell, Edward Life Sciences, Chipotle, and Dominion.
Yeah. All right.
Bigly moves.
What is your best bet out of these? I know it's going to be a tougher one. You don't even think about it, but do you have anything that stands out?
You know what? I'd probably have to go through each one again. But
yeah, I know.
I do like these bigger purchases.
Yeah. All right. Hit me up tomorrow with it.
I like that QSR that I bought today.
Wow.
I bought $7.5 million worth of stock. I like the Oxy. I like the oil and gas plays.
Yeah, the oil and gas looks great tomorrow. And if oil and gas move higher tomorrow, you got to figure that the market's going to get dragged up with it. So looking good.
I think that ConMed goes higher.
I like this CQH. Is that a CQH that you gave me? Yeah. CFO I like.
Which one?
STKL. There's a couple other ones. ECA and Kana.
Yeah, so again, you see multiple guys buying it, probably a good idea for you to buy it too.
Well,
if you see them buying it over multiple days, that's a good thing too.
I like this GTE, double bottom and divergence, oil and gas. Oh, yeah, mostly oil and gas is showing up. GTE, very nice. Rob, I want to thank you so much for going over this with everyone today. It was definitely worth. We didn't play no music. We didn't goof around. We didn't drink. Well, I had a couple drinks, but we kept it straight to insiders. A big insider day. We're up to about 3 hours on the show.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's great. I'm glad we got it out of the way.
There's just so much to cover, Johnny. 30-something names in, 3 hours. We really didn't goof off.
No, that's what I said. We didn't goof off at all.
You guys really got some... we looked at some quality names, some quality setups, and you just learned something very valuable tonight.
Yeah.
Stack the odds in your favor. You get a divergence, you get an insider, money in the bank.
Now, again, we'll just keep an eye on some of these, we always have Rob checking them out and chiming in during the day. So if you do see any new ones, Rob, we'll definitely have
I'm going to actually post a couple screenshots. I recommend you guys open these links and either save them, print them out, or just keep them open in a tab.
Yeah.
Just so you guys can follow along. And if we miss it tomorrow, say, hey, Rob, you mentioned this one in the discussion last night. I'd love for you to take a look at it.
Oh, that's great stuff. You did a good job because the way I'm just checking out his link, and he has all his notes with these stocks too. So it's really good. Great notes. It must have took you quite a while to prepare this.
It did. That's why I was. You were gracious enough to let me talk about Keltner's strategies next week because there were so many, much. Johnny, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to leave anything out because I did see so many.
So he's
posting. I mean, it's good food for thought.
Yeah. So he's posting these links in the room right now. So you can open them up, save them on your. Save them. I'll try to save them too and send them out with this video tomorrow. I'm gonna scoot out of here soon so I get home before 11. But I'll get these things out to you too if we can somehow save them in the forum. Maybe we'll make a forum section for you, Rob, inside of purchases.
All right, here I'm putting another couple in there. I'm sorry, some of them came up on other pages, so you just kind of gotta.
Yeah, I know. It's all good.
I didn't want to cut a couple of them off, but there's some quality names in here. Obviously, you see the 5 big ones that we had last month that all worked out. Yes, they were quality names as opposed to some of these we don't know anything about. But good stuff.
I wonder if Kramer went over this material like this.
Actually, it's showing still there. I don't know if what he mentioned, actually. I didn't see the show, and I didn't record it.
He did that. There's a recording of it. He actually posted a link. He probably has it still if you want to follow that link. Everyone wants to follow that. But we'll see everyone tomorrow, I guess. Let me still got some work to I want to close out the show. Just save this link, save this recording before it crashes and stuff, and then be able to compress it and send it out. But I'll send it out tomorrow morning anyway. I'm going to stop it right now. And, let me just stop it. I'll continue to stay on here with you, Rob, but I'm just going to call it a day. And thanks, everyone, for listening here.